The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests. What is going on, my Go Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast Live. This is episode number 337. Today's date is Tuesday, April 23rd, 2024. If you're out there, go ahead and say something. We are live, as always, on YouTube, streamed to over 150 countries worldwide. What does that mean for the tens of you that are watching? Not a damn thing. But if you are out there in the live stream, go ahead and say something. We don't know that you're out there. If you're watching this in replay or listening to podcast form, the conversation does not have to stop here. Utilize that comment section below and let us know what you think of the show, what we need to do better. We're ugly. We're terrible at this. Whatever. Just let us know what you're thinking, and we will not make any changes. So it is what it is. Can't do anything about it. We're not here to make you any smarter. Honestly, we're just here not to make you any dumber. That said, like I said, if you're out there, go ahead and say something in the live chat. We will take your questions throughout the show. If you have anything you want to talk about, go ahead and throw it out there in the chat, and we will discuss it if it's something that I want to discuss. So if you want to text into the show, yes, you can text into the show. Utilize the Ghost Tactical Hotline presented by our good friends over at Wilder Tactical. That number is 530-364-4678. Go check out our friends over at Wilder Tactical. You guys know them if you've been watching the channel. Great gear over there. Probably the best war belts you've ever seen. Really good people. And go check out wildertactical.com. If you're a veteran, really anybody, but especially if you're a veteran and you're in that hole, you're in that darkness, and you're looking for that light, call me, text me, email 24/7. I cannot give you medical advice, but I might be able to walk you through it. At least, nothing else, I could be a pretty decent ear to listen. If you are looking for someone to get you towards some medical attention, remember two things. One, you are not alone in this fight. You got a lot of brothers out here that are willing and able to help you in any way possible. And two, the world is a much better place with you in it. So please utilize the Veteran Crisis Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. Once again, 1-800-273-8255. I also want to express, you guys go check out, if you're having some issues or you think you know someone that is, go check out some gun-friendly mental health people over at our Walk the Talk America. You guys know that we're big supporters of Mike Sedini and Jake and all those guys over there. Walk the Talk America has been doing some really good work for over 5 years now. They're trying to bridge the gap between mental health and firearms. And they have a great podcast. They do live every Friday morning. They're doing a lot of great work. If you're interested, they do have an anonymous free mental health screening over at WTTA.org or WalkTheTalkAmerica.org. So go check them out and let them know we sent you over there. We are spotlighting, as always, United States Marine Corps. If you have any questions on what it takes to earn the title of United States Marine, see the website marines.com. And as always, we're a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. Go check out all your favorite pro-gun, pro-2A podcasts over at selfdefenseradio.net. And let's get this off of my ugly mug and say hello to the merry band of idiots tonight. And from the weirdest state in the union, the only state that has 4 letters and takes 2 motherfuckers to spell it out. My God. And Kyle, I don't need your help on this. I don't need your help. I thought you were trying to spell out Ohio. You're pointing down. You're trying to give a dap to John. I thought you were trying to spell. You're close enough to Ohio. I thought you were like jumping on board or something. From the 740, we have Chris from the 740. What's up, homie?
Much, man. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, how you feeling? You feeling pretty good today?
No. No,
Rough
I
day at
got
the range, huh?
got a bum knee. I cannot wait to get to the doctor to see what's going on with it.
Just when you need a doctor, they're a week away.
Yep.
That's how it goes. Well, I'm glad you're here. What you got going on the channel? Anything new and exciting? We always got something new and exciting.
Yeah, we got the optics. The optic will be here tomorrow for the T-Saw, so I'm getting excited to get that on there, and got a new camera, so I'm trying to figure out new toy for the channel. So,
what kind of camera is it?
This is the new Insta360 X4.
Yeah.
I've used a 360 camera, so
yeah. Are you gonna use that mostly for the range, or are you gonna use them at shows also, or what?
I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet. It's cool that it's filming everything around you, but the editing software is a nightmare to learn. So
I would imagine.
Definitely gonna be a learning curve. Since I can't really go do anything, I'm gonna be laid up all weekend. I guess I'll work on figuring out the editing.
Take some 360 videos in the bed. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. That's for a different platform.
Yeah.
From Anderson Manufacturing, we got our good friend Kyle. What's up, man?
Nothing much, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. How's everything going there? You guys kicking it into gear, getting ready for NRAM?
Yeah, got that hustle and bustle going. NRAM, got Primary Arms Optics Range Day prior to that. So
yeah,
putting some stuff together and all that fun jazz.
Yeah.
Chris,
looking forward to that drive, huh?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, 17 hours with Chris and Jeremy, two Army guys.
I mean, can you not just throw one of them in the trailer or something? And
you know what? We do got some lawn chairs. I could tape them down, secure them real good.
Just give them a cooler and some MREs. You should be good to go.
That's true. They are both grunts. So
yeah. Anything, guys? You guys I know you're getting ready for NRAM, but anything that in specific you're going to take to the Primary Arms for those that may be going that Thursday down to Waxahachie?
Oh yeah, we're gonna have the Frontline series out there, the whole Frontline series. We're gonna have the Breacher, the Ranger, the Silent Ranger.
Oh, nice.
Couple dissipators, and then the Kiger 9C Pro, and then the standard Kiger 9C, and then we got one decked out. I was hoping Chris was gonna make it out, but we got one decked out just like Chris's. Got the Mass Driver comp on there. I think we went with the SCT Magwell instead of the Strike Industries Magwell, but yeah, pretty exciting.
Oh yeah. So if you're going to be going to the Primary Arms Range Day, make sure you go step by Anderson's booth. They're going to have a lot of great stuff out there.
Yeah, come see
yeah, for sure. Standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona, such a fine sight to see. It's a Ginger, my lord, and a flatbed Ford. From the Gun Owners of America and Fully Loaded Reviews, we have John, the Ginger Soulless Bastard. What's up, man?
What's up? How's it going?
It's good. How are you? You got back in town? Everything's good?
Busy week last week. So we got booth picks done for goals. We also announced that registration is now open to the general public at goals.gunowners.org. So you can go over there and register to attend the show. Walked the lay of the land of the convention center again. Got a good lay of the land. We got our comedy show all booked up. We got our concerts are halfway booked up. We are going to be doing a cigar lounge outside. So the smoking area is going to be a little different this time, boys. Got a bunch of people signed up. Booth pick. Anderson picked their booth. Kyle got his pick of the land the other day. So it was a busy week. And then I was walking out of the cabin the one morning, and there was 3 cubs sitting there within 4 feet of me. So
like Mark Grace, Ryan Sandberg, Andre Dawson, or are we talking
all of them?
Oh, like bears. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, black bears. So
I don't know who Ryan Sandberg is or Mark Grace or Andre Dawson are.
Nah, I'm too young for that.
They were retired before you were born.
But yeah, I realized that there were 3 cubs there and turned my happy butt around and got back in the cabin and didn't want to
Where
mess with
was
Mama.
That's what I want to know.
I had no idea where Mama was, but I was getting back in the house.
I guarantee she was pretty damn close.
So we ended up seeing 13 bear all weekend, or all week. It was fantastic. Good time. Always a great time in the Smoky Mountains. Every time I go out there. So got that done. We have the State of the Second podcast launching tomorrow with John Lovell. You can listen to that at the on all podcasting hosts or on the Firearms Radio Network, or you can go to our new YouTube page, State of the Second. You can watch the live, the video feed from that episode with John. Great episode. Filmed a bunch of episodes while we were in Knoxville, including with Big Josh, who's no longer big anymore. The man's lost 90 pounds, so good on him from Black Diamond Guns and Gear. Yeah.
Good for him.
With Opie, with TC Bennett from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. If you know Smoky Mountain Knife Works, he's going to be on an episode. So it's good, a lot of good episodes filmed. But really excited for goals. So make sure that you go to goals.gunowners.org, sign up. And for the media guys out there, your badges will be approved very shortly. We're just getting them all put together again. And you'll have a link for all the hotels and everything. So Staub, I know you've asked me. It'll be up there soon.
Well, he keeps asking, but has he actually applied? Like, is he actually registered yet?
I don't know. I don't think I saw his name on the list.
He just
I know I saw your name. I saw Clover's
because
name.
He's the gun snob. Like, he just automatically going to get added to the guest list, the backstage list.
I mean, Kaylee was singing his praises this week, so I don't know what he said to her at TriggerCon that got her, talking about him. But
he was talking sweet nothings to her, I bet.
Yes. But yeah, if you guys, media, if you don't get approved within the next couple of weeks, reach out and I'll make sure you guys get approved. There was something going on with the software that if you didn't put in your full YouTube link, it wasn't registering it as a submitted form. So if you're listening, please reach out. If
bro, no one listens to this shit. Nobody listens to this. Let's just be honest.
It's all right. If you are listening, go to goals.gunowners.org to register to be an attendee. It's going to be exciting.
That's fair. Snow says, I just bashed Ghost and John during. She likes me on. That's a good point. That's how you get on the good side.
Yeah.
That's how you get on the good side. What's going on in the GOA? You got any 2A news?
Oh, goodness. We've got
Where do you start?
Where do you start? So we're trying to figure out what's going on. I can't comment just yet on it, but the universal background check bill just got there were 2 rules that were put out, 2 different than the original rules. So we're trying to figure out if we have a comment period or not. So our legal team is working on that. That's going to change the definition of who's doing business as a gunner. So that's private sales, things like that. So
aren't they required by law to have a comment period?
Yes, but they already had a comment period, so that's what makes this a little weird.
Yeah, but if they change anything, I think they have to come back with another. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but
no, you're absolutely right, and that's what our legal team is working on right now. So Fed Affairs and it's all. I've been on and off the phone all week with Ben Sanderson, if you know Ben, Minuteman Moment, and our Federal Affairs team, trying to figure out what's going on. So that's a big one right now. Is the UBC. Basically, it would change the definition of who's doing business, which would basically require everybody to get an FFL if you decide to sell your guns, which we at some point all do sell one, which then would ultimately be a big infringement on our Fourth Amendment rights, because once you have an FFL, they have the right to come in the house to do a check and have everybody have a bound book. So make sure you that if you know your congressman, your senator, let them know we don't want this. This is not something we want. We're going to try to fight this on all levels. We have a couple cases going to a couple different Supreme Courts at state level, and then there was a new ruling put out in New York today. So we're still tracking that on upper receivers and upper defining what a gun is, so on and so forth in the great state of, or the commie state of New York. So keep
great state. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Nah. So up north in northern New York is kind of nice, but other than that,
They can have it. Eh.
So yeah, keep an eye on that. Make sure that you keep up on your local and state legislation. If you have any questions, go to our gunowners.org and you can submit a form, and our state and local team will happily answer that for you. So
There you go. And riding shotgun most of the time with us, the gatekeeper of Texas, the tactical virus. Leprechaun himself. What's up, Clove?
Hey, man. What's happening?
What's up? You sound like Ross. Hi.
Okay. On account of my rage.
Kind of your rage. Are you Ross or are you Russ?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
That's a fair question.
Wonder how many
Burn your
times
house down?
Russ was divorced.
Oh, that's a good point. They never brought that up. So
They didn't.
They didn't. Yeah, I don't know. What's
Can't
going on with you?
I don't know. Nothing.
You've been 3D printing a bunch.
Man, I ain't 3D printed anything in like a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been running down, double checking electrical stuff, and actually getting some videos out, believe it or not, too. So
I need to get to the range this week.
I've gotten. I think I've got 2. I think Chris can tell me for sure, but I think I got 2 sitting in members only right now. And then
are they wearing jackets?
Yeah, actually they are
members only jackets.
Yeah.
So like back in the 80s, John, there was this company called Members Only, and they had these casual jackets that became very, very popular, windbreakers, and honestly, they're kind of starting to make a comeback again. So
you're talking like the starter jackets.
Yeah, they're called members only jackets.
Yeah.
It's not the starter jackets.
No, it's called a members only. Google it.
Literally a members only jacket.
It's a jacket that has a little tag on it that says members only.
Goodness, these mid 1900s people and their nonsense.
Hey, starter jackets were fire though.
I'm not saying the starter jackets weren't great, but they weren't quite members only. Members only, I think, came out, if I'm not mistaken, they came out at the same time that, like, I'm not saying it was because of the show, but about the same time as like Miami Vice was coming out. So they had those kind of casual, jackets back then. So you had members only, you had OP, which is Ocean Pacific, and you had you guys, like Chris and Clover will remember, but you remember the Jams? Remember Jams back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Remember the surf style jackets?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff back in the day. Yeah, Ocean Pacific. I remember that a lot. But
John and I got stuck with Jinko jeans.
Jinko jeans back in the day, man. I could see Kyle over there listening to a little bit of having Jinko jeans and a Fago and listen to a little ICP back there.
Is Bugle Boy still a thing?
I
used to rock some Bugle Boy.
You know who this is no joke, and I love the guy. Dear friend of mine. Do you know who was one of the models for Bugle Boy back in the day? Our good friend Michael Sedini from Walk the Talk America.
Yeah.
Literally was a bugle. He literally was a Bugle Boy back in the day. Yeah, he was a male model back in the day, man. Yeah. There's a couple pictures floating around that I might have to get some like stickers made or something for shot next year. Just saying. You had Bugle Boy. Now this is 90s, mid and late 90s. Remember? Do y'all remember? Not Bugle Boy, but Lucky Strike or Lucky Jeans, Lucky Brand or whatever it was. Not Lucky Strike, it's cigarettes, but Lucky Brand. Those were good.
Lucky's still a thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think they're still pretty popular, actually.
Are they really?
Yeah.
They're stupid expensive now.
Yeah,
of course
they're like $200.
Lucky?
Yeah.
Really?
It
Yeah.
became like
Lucky Brand got real famous when House of Pain did Jump Around. They were wearing a lot of Lucky stuff back in the day, if you remember those days. Kangaroo shoes with the zipper pockets. Hell yeah. Do y'all remember, was it Keds? Chris, Clover, was it Keds that you could switch out the color things on the side of the shoes? I think they were Keds.
I don't remember that.
That sounds-
Kangaroos. That's a
sounds
blast
right.
from the past.
It was about the same time as Kangaroos, but maybe it was just a Dallas thing. But there was Keds. I think they're called Keds, and they had like their little logo on the side of the shoes, and you could pop out the logo and put different colors in. But yeah, Kangaroo. Yeah, we used to keep like, back in the day, you could actually get stuff for like $1, like a lot of stuff at the candy store for $1. So you'd always keep like your dollar bill zipped up in the Kangaroo shoes,
Snob brought up the Reebok
pumps. Hell yeah.
Oh,
Reebok.
yeah.
I had a pair of the Reebok pumps. Hell yeah. K-Swiss. I don't remember K-Swiss. It was LA Gear. LA Gear. Yeah. I remember LA. I don't think I ever had LA Gear, but I remember LA Gear.
LA Gear had the light up shoes when I was a kid.
Yeah, we had Vans were that's what started the Vans whole thing, was when Tony Hawk and them started the skateboard scene in the 80s.
I think Vans is still killing it.
I would hope so, yeah. Vans, you had, the Chuck Taylors back then were obviously pretty big back when I was growing up.
They're still surging, I think, dude.
Yeah, oh yeah, my wife and daughter still wear Chucks.
Vans is still going strong. I think Airwalk finally died off.
I forgot about Airwalk. Airwalk was the if I'm not mistaken, was Airwalk like the more affordable van, if you will, or were they both about the same price?
Yeah, they were both pretty expensive.
Yeah.
I was a DC guy. I wore the DC.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, see, I wore Vans and Airwalks. I had some Airwalks. Vans.
Do you remember Stephen Barry's and the Mulberry shoes?
Oh yeah. Well, you can get $5 t-shirts.
Yeah, $5 like college t-shirts. That's all they sold were college stuff.
Yeah.
And Stephon Marbury. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Stephon Marbury. Nobody wants to. Starberry?
Yeah.
Now Gunpowder brought up Doc Martens. Now I was a Doc guy. I still have some Docs. I don't wear them anymore, but I had a ton of Docs. Docs were my jam back in the day. Midnight says if you were rural, Rocky boots came out in the late 90s. They were the cool hunting boots. I'm not a boot guy typically. I never really heard of Rocky. I'm sure I've seen them, but I don't know the brand. So Rocky doesn't make much sense. So I don't know. I don't remember that.
Rocky Boots is actually their headquarters is in Ohio, and they have a gun store in their headquarters.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Chloe, got a shotgun for us this week?
Actually, yeah.
Cool.
I didn't know this one existed until actually a few days ago.
Really?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the Charles Daly Hydra?
No.
So it is one of those Turkish AR style shotguns, right? But it's a combo
Hydra
set.
902.
Yeah, it comes with a bullpup lower as well.
Yes,
so you
it
can
does.
convert
That's
it
actually kind of cool.
Isn't that neat?
It
Yeah.
is.
I thought so too.
That is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that Charles Daly had an AR style shotgun to begin with, much less a bullpup conversion.
On the shotgun note, I shot a 3.5-inch turkey load this weekend.
How'd that go for you?
I still have a bruise. It's like right here.
Wuss.
Dude, this guy's like, it's only 3.5 inches. You'll be fine. Dude, that thing kicked like a mule, boy. Yeah. But pretty cool. Pretty cool to see what it did.
Did you get yourself a turkey?
No, it was just a target.
Oh, okay. Well, it's turkey season. Well,
I blasted that.
Turkey season might be over here, but it was the last couple of weeks. A lot of people were turkey hunting around here.
Yeah, ours.
I live on a street that's got a lot of turkey around us in this area. So
Ours open Friday. I've just never been turkey hunting, so I need to find
neither
somebody.
have I. I've never hunted animals before in my life. But yeah, no, that's pretty big around here. Turkey hunting was pretty big. So yeah. All right, you guys know that every Thursday, Saturday, and Monday over on our YouTube community tab, we have the pony polls. The pony polls. Let's take a look at what we had going on. I did not get them out Thursday, Saturday, and Monday this time. I had to do them like Sunday, Monday, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I honestly forgot to put them out there. But so you only had about a day on each of them, but it's okay. First one, 1.4 thousand votes came out yesterday. Pretty simple. Who is the better Joker, Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix? Chris?
I got to go with Heath, but I don't know. That was a tough one for me. Phoenix was he's just such a, I don't know, he's such a weird dude, man. He played that. I liked his Joker too, but I got to go with Heath on it.
Too. I agree. I think Heath was the best Joker. And a lot of people give hate to the Joker, the movie with Joaquin Phoenix. I actually liked it. But I tell you, I'm a fan of Joaquin Phoenix. He is a weird dude, but he's a fantastic actor. Put it this way, I don't think that Joaquin could have done as good of a job as Heath Ledger's character Joker in that movie, but I also don't think that Heath could have done the job that Joaquin did in the Joker movie. That was a really dark movie, but I really, really liked it. Worst Joker was James Franco. Was James Franco a Joker ever? I don't remember that.
I think it was what was the Suicide Squad, but I don't think it was James Franco. I think it was somebody else.
No, that was Jared Leto, and he wasn't bad in that.
Yeah, he was pretty good. Yeah,
I actually like Jared Leto as a Joker. I wish he actually got more time because I thought that he did a pretty good job. But and a lot of people were commenting Jack Nicholson. Jack played a great Joker, but I think that Heath and Joaquin really took it another level, especially Heath. I think Heath was the first one to make the Joker the really dark character that the Joker really is. You know that. Kyle, what about you? Heath or Joaquin?
It's a tough one, and you could debate it all day. I think
you could 100%.
I think He's got it hands down. But like you guys were talking about, Joaquin Phoenix, he really drew you into like the emotional side and trauma that Joker went through. He did a really good job, but I don't know. I think Heath Ledger would have probably killed it better than Joaquin Phoenix in that movie. That's my personal opinion on that.
I think he would have done a great job. I think it would have been a different movie.
It would,
It would have been a different movie. You know, Heath. They're different actors. You know,
they are.
Heath was a great actor, but Heath did things better than Joaquin. But Joaquin, man, he just gets in that dark place in his mind, and I tell you what, I know he's a weird dude, and I know that he's done a lot of weird things in his career and in his life, but I don't think that Joaquin gets the respect of being a tremendous actor because of his weirdness. You know, I don't know. Ginger, so there's a story called Batman. It started as a comic book back there with DC, and the main antagonist in the Batman series is the Joker. And supposedly the Joker killed Bruce Wayne's parents. It changes depending on which movie you watch, but Heath Ledger had done a thing in Joaquin. So I don't know if you're familiar with either one of these actors or familiar with the Batman universe at all. But if you are, and you've seen these, which one would you pick?
I don't know who. Rich White said it best. Mark Hamill. No, Gotta go with Heath Ledger. Mark Hamill was the Joker for the animated series. He was a great Joker, but Heath Ledger really dived deep into it. And there's a lot of scenes where, like, I can't remember who's the actress who played Rachel. The scene where he holds.
That was that Jake Gyllenhaal's sister, Maggie? I think
so.
Gyllenhaal, maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
It was either her. She played in one of them, and then what's her name that was married to Tom Cruise for a while? Katie Holmes played in one, but I think the one that Heath was in, I think that was Maggie Gyllenhaal. I'm not sure.
Katie Holmes.
Well, here.
It was Katie Holmes. Both of them.
The scene where he holds up the knife to her face.
Yeah,
she didn't know, so that was a pure reaction. So him doing that, like, just made the movie better. I think that's a testament to Heath's acting skills.
No, for sure. And unfortunately, Heath was always known as a very much of a method actor. And unfortunately, I think that the year that he spent in character as the Joker probably had something to do with his death. Let's just be honest. I think he got into that dark place and was there for so long. Mentally, I don't know that for a fact, but it's just ironic that after the darkest movie he's ever made, this happened. So who knows? But he was definitely he was great for sure. Clove, what about you? Heath or Joaquin?
So first of all, Katie Holmes was Batman Begins, and Gyllenhaal was Dark Knight. As far as
I knew one of them were. I knew they were both in only one movie, but I couldn't remember which one was which.
Yeah, that was a character swap. Yeah,
Katie Holmes. I do remember Katie Holmes was because that's the one that the manor burned down, right? Mm-hmm. And she was trying to get him to rebuild it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember that one very much. After The Dark Knight, who remembers the other ones? Because it was so awesome. And it was awesome. And it was awesome because of Ledger. So
no, 100%.
My favorite scene, and it really speaks to how dark that movie is and just the motivations of the Joker, is when he has like all the mob's money and he literally burns
it.
He don't care one bit about the money. Like, no telling me millions of dollars that was or whatever, right? He just sets it on fire. Like, it's like just wants to see the world burn. That's what Alfred said, right? And it's like that's exactly it. Just how do you fight somebody like that?
Yeah, they I'm trying to remember his name. What was his name? Aaron Eckhart. Okay. So he played Harvey Dent in that movie. Yeah. And I saw an interview with him, and he said that there was only one scene that he was actually with Heath Ledger in the movie, and that was when Harvey Dent was in the hospital. And he said, I had no speaking lines in that, but it was me and Heath. And he said we were supposed to shoot that afternoon, and about 9:00 in the morning, he came in and got makeup done. He says, if sitting there and you're watching this kid transform into the Joker, like right in front of you with makeup and hair and all that. And then he says, hey, let's go and work on, some of this and all that. And he said that for the next couple of hours, Heath just walked around the room, that hospital room, and was just like getting himself mad about something. And he kept just mumbling and just getting mad. And all he was doing for several hours was trying to get his mind in the state of mind that for that one scene. And he was like, I've been around some great actors. And he's like this kid was on a different level. And I've never heard anyone that said that who they worked with Heath Ledger that didn't say that like he was on a different level when he was acting. And he's obviously going to be missed because he was going to be, I think he could have been one of the greats because he could play anything. I mean, the first thing I remember him in was in A Knight's Tale. And if you've ever seen A Knight's Tale, that was hilarious. So he could play like the comedic role very easily. He could do it all. He was really a great actor. And he could play the dramatic role. He could play, obviously, I think that, 1.4 thousand votes, 88% say Heath Ledger. And as much as I love Joaquin Phoenix, that's about right. Heath Ledger, I think for the rest of time, when people say the Joker, I think that most people will automatically think Heath Ledger. He took an iconic character that had been played by many, many people over many, many different, comic books, movies, TV shows, animated strips, all of that stuff. He took ownership of the Joker, and that's hard to do, considering he was like the 10th person to do it, overall.
Well, and he did it. Ledger did it in a more true to the character, I think, way.
That's what I'm saying. I think he was the closest of what Joker was supposed to be the whole time.
I think so. And what I like about Leto, though, and you can only compare two.
Sure.
As far as theatrical performance and screen time, you pick the right two to compare, I think. But but Leto brings a different twist to the Joker. He brings a more modern, more populist style twist, and I really do like that. Like
I did too.
Moving forward, if there was more Batman movies, and it wouldn't break my heart if they used that Joker. I would like it.
No, I enjoyed Leto as the Joker. I thought he did a great job. He brought a little bit of, he was kind of, how do I put this? Maybe a mixture of the Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger's. He brought some of the comedic, kind of funny. I can be funny at this, but obviously a complete psychopath, but a likable Joker almost, where Heath was not a likable Joker because he wasn't supposed to be, but he just played it perfectly. I mean, I don't think there's anyone that could have played the Dark Knight Joker as well as Heath Ledger. I don't think I think you put anyone in there and it's a different movie. Because even in the Dark Knight, he had a couple one-liners that were funny. He wasn't trying to be comedic, but there were a couple one-liners that were hilarious. Just as on their own, but now Heath was great. Heath was great, and he's going to be missed forever. Faux show. Next one, 1.1 thousand votes was put out on Sunday. This went differently than I thought it would have. Which was a better song? Sweet Child of Mine, or I'm surprised. I am. Sweet Child of Mine or Inner Sandman? Kyle, better song. We're not talking bands here. We're not going GNR versus Metallica. We're saying these two songs. Which one is better?
Inner Sandman.
Yeah, this is tough for me because I love both of them. They're both iconic guitar riffs, iconic bands. Both kind of changed music. GNR was when Sweet Child of Mine came out. It took us, thank God, out of the hair band era, if you will, and got us kind of into rock right before grunge. Inner Sandman was, for a lot of people, I'm not saying for a lot of people in this room, but for a lot of people, Inner Sandman was the first introduction to Metallica, because a lot of people didn't listen to Metallica in the 80s. And then the Black Album came out. Inner Sandman was kind of more of a commercial album, if you will. But that was the song that kind of introduced a lot of people to Metallica. And yes, a lot of people are talking about Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech has taken Inner Sandman, and at their football games, that's how they enter the building. And if you've never seen 103,000 people losing their shit, go watch a YouTube video of Virginia Tech with Inner Sandman. It's incredible. Like, I want to go to Blacksburg just to witness. I'll leave right before the game starts. I just want to see that happen. It's pretty cool. So you're saying Inner Sandman, huh? All right.
Yeah, I got personal bias too, because our football team, our high school football team, came out to that too.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Still to this day, like, it gets my blood boiling hearing that. So.
Oh yeah, yeah. Defense. That's a tough one. Both have instantly recognizable guitar intros. They do. I mean, like, you only have to hear about two sounds, and
literally
what songs they are. Midnight says Inner Sandman was the first metal song the little guy sang along when we were out running around. There you go.
Nice.
Ginger, Inner Sandman or Sweet Child of Mine?
Has Sweet Child of Mine ever registered as an earthquake at a stadium? No.
I don't
Enter
know.
Sandman has at Virginia Tech. So Enter Sandman is the hands down winner on this one.
Okay. Clove?
First public service announcement. If you're ever in a bad place, do not listen to Metallica. Find some classical music, have something. They do not listen to Metallica. Been there, done that. Not good.
Are you
that
talking
said,
in a bad place, like mentally in a bad place, or like in the
that's
hood?
what I mean.
Oh,
I mean
okay.
like in a like in a bad mentally in a bad place.
I don't know listen to Metallica than classical music if I'm in East St. Louis. I'm just saying. I don't know.
And different people get affected differently, but Metallica is one of those that I love Metallica, but man, if I'm remotely in a dark place, I cannot listen to Metallica. Something about just the riffs and the vocals and the substance of the music, the lyrics and stuff. That said, you said the question is the best song.
Best song.
Okay. Yes. I gotta go with "Sweet Child of Mine" because there's been some major covers, and to me, if there is major covers, then that tells me that the song was worthy for another bigger artist to pick up on it, and so I would say "Sweet Child of
Mine." Two covers that I need to find out one of the bands is.
Sheryl Crow for sure.
Sheryl Crow, 100 hands down. Okay, there it is. So Iron Horse. It's a bluegrass. And I don't know if you guys like bluegrass or not. I like bluegrass. But a band called Iron Horse did a bluegrass cover of Sweet Child of Mine. I heard this maybe 10 years ago, and it's unreal. But if you're into banjos and all of that, like you'll dig it. Now, there's a couple bluegrass covers that are really, really good, but my favorite is Iron Horse. I had to look that up because I couldn't remember which band it was. Appetite for Destruction, I believe, still to this day is the highest selling. I think it still is, but it's still the highest selling. What do they call that? First album. I'm not sure that there's an official term of it. Ever, like still sold more than any other first albums ever. And let's be honest, Metallica was already huge before the Black Album came. Now, the Black Album took them to legendary because it did bring in a bunch of new people to Metallica. And in all retrospect, it brought me. I knew Metallica and I liked some of Metallica. I loved One, and I loved For Whom the Bell Tolls and all that growing up. But when the Black Album came out, and ironically, Enter Sandman isn't even close to it's probably not even my sixth favorite song on that album.
So question.
Yeah.
Think about this objectively, everybody.
Okay.
With Metallica, and I agree with what you're saying, had a major mainstream blow up with the Black Album for sure.
Yeah.
Without the advent of the internet, without the advent of piracy and the downloading and all the other stuff, does Metallica get over that hurdle that the Black Album put them over? Are people actually buying those albums is what I'm asking your question, to put them over that hurdle. You get where I'm going with it?
Well, they got screwed apparently by Napster. That's what.
Well, I know they did, but what I'm saying is, without the advent of the mechanisms where the masses were downloading their stuff for free, not buying their albums, like Appetite for Destruction or like they were people were previously, right?
Yeah.
Does it put them over the top?
I think it does.
Still boost, it still do they still get that boost?
I think they do. I think they do because the Black Album for me, it was still a metal album and all of that, but that was the first album they really went to the studio with an idea of what they wanted, and they wanted a specific sound. And matter of fact, I want to say that maybe that was the first album that Hetfield was trying to get sober. I don't think he was yet, but he was trying to get sober. Ironically, they all recorded separately. Like they don't record like together in the studio. They all record separately, separate tracks and all that. But I do believe that the Black Album, like I said, it was the first true, I mean, a metal album that was mainstream. And like I said, Enter Sandman for me is like the 6th or 7th best song on that album. But it's that song that made that album. Had that song not been released first, you know, I think Nothing Else Matters and Unforgiven and
Wherever I May Roam.
Those were just, I mean, like Wherever I May Roam was one of the greatest rock and roll songs, in my opinion, maybe ever.
Yeah.
But Enter Sandman was the one that made that album. That song came out, and people, I think, the thing about Enter Sandman, what makes it, I think, a great song, is everyone that really never listened to metal or really hard rock in the 80s, but they knew who Metallica was. This was the devil worshiping, you know, band from San Francisco that, you know, blah, 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 blah. That's what they thought Metallica was. And it was this thrash metal band. And oh my gosh, you know, and then you hear Enter Sandman and like, damn, these guys can, like, they're all really good at their craft. Like, they're all good at playing their instruments. They sound good together. This isn't what I thought Metallica was. Now, Enter Sandman necessarily wasn't what the normal Metallica was in the early to mid 80s. It was a little more commercial, a little more, how do I put it? Commercial, a little more produced, maybe. They made it sound really, really good on that album. But Enter Sandman for a lot of people was that first, oh, this is Metallica? Man, this is pretty good. So I don't know. They're talking about the Faith No More. Yeah, I saw the Guns N' Roses Metallica Faith No More tour in Dallas. And needless to say, Axl was about an hour and a half late. And I think that Metallica and GNR kind of switched places on who was headlining. And the night that I was there at the Cotton Bowl, GNR was supposed to headline. Axl was being Axl. So Metallica came back on, played for another hour while waiting for Axl to come on. And ironically, played a couple Guns N' Roses songs, I think just to piss off Axl. It was great. It's fantastic. It was great. Master of Puppets. Yeah. Like I said, for me, the first two songs that I ever heard that I really truly loved of Metallica was One, and I love For Whom the Bell Tolls. I don't know. There's something about that song that I guess the bass, in the beginning of it, it was great. Polished. That's what I want to say. Yeah, it was a polished album, not produced, but polished. It was definitely, Seek and Destroy was great. But Enter Sandman, I think, was, if that was your first introduction to Metallica, I think that's when people like, man, these guys can actually play. They're not just yelling in the microphone and playing as loud as they can. They can actually do it. So that said, Ginger, did you vote yet?
Yeah, I think you're on Chris.
Chris, okay. Chris is the last one. Enter Sandman or Sweet Child of Mine?
This is easy. Sweet Child of Mine. Metallica died after Injustice for All.
Wow.
So never could stand them after that out.
No, you're bringing up, you're bringing up like the people, like I said, so the Black Album was that album that introduced Metallica to a lot of people, but those that were the Metallica people in the 80s, a lot of them hate the Black Album because they felt like they sold out. I don't know if they sold out, but I mean, they made a ton of money on that, and it made them this legendary band. But no, I think that you have the same opinion that a lot of people, if you were a Metallica guy back in the 80s, a lot of those people did not like the Black Album at all. They didn't like the polished side of it,
Yeah. I saw Defense Dad's comment out there too about the bass lines. And if you ever go back and listen, if you listen to Injustice for All, there's literally no bass in it because Metallica hated Jason Newsted. They didn't want him in the band, I don't think. I think after they got him in, because they just never could get over losing Cliff Burton. So that kind of
I think Jason was screwed from the beginning because of Cliff's death. I think that if you look back on it, that deep voice that Jason brought, the sound that he brought to Metallica, I think was probably something they needed. And I think that he's probably more respected now than he was while he was in the band. I think that Jason was a very big part of the band. I think he was more important than people thought. He brought a different, they didn't use Cliff's voice a lot. He was just a great bass player. Jason actually sang and brought that deep, dark voice to the music. I like Jason. I like, what's his name that's there now. I think he's a phenomenal bass player. I think you're right. I think that especially early on, nobody wanted, whoever was going to follow Cliff was screwed, right? They were screwed, So yeah. Go ahead, Kyle.
Don't sleep on Ride the Lightning.
Ride the Lightning?
Yeah. Fade to Black. That was my intro to Metallica.
So Hetfield say, yeah, we sold out every concert we ever played. I would imagine that Metallica, I don't know about ever played because I don't know. Early on Metallica, they probably didn't sell out everything. I can tell you this. I would be willing to bet that Guns N' Roses sold out every place they ever played. They might not have all showed up, but I bet you all those tickets were sold. 100%. Fade to Black. I tell you, so I'm a big Bob Seger fan, and I love Bob Seger. Have y'all ever heard Metallica's version of Turn the Page? That is a phenomenal version of Turn the Page. So if you're a Seger fan, Metallica did a great cover of Turn the Page, and it's great. Really great. But yeah, no, I see that. Midnight. Well played. I want to go, for me, better song is Sweet Child of Mine. I think that's I think both of these are two of the greatest, maybe top 10, maybe even top 5 greatest rock and roll songs. But I think that Sweet Child of Mine is, I'm not saying it's the best, but I think it's a top 5. For me, when I heard Sweet Child of Mine, I was in 7th grade, 6th grade, something like that. When it came out, it changed. That Appetite for Destruction album changed me for a good way. I loved that album. But that said, 63% say Enter Sandman was the better song. I can't be mad at either one of them. I cannot be mad. They're both great songs. But that's why I like doing this stuff, because it kind of, that's why it's to surprise me. I thought this was going to be closer to a 50-50. I really did. I didn't think that 63% would go either way. Metallica had a good cover of Tuesday's Gone. Really? I didn't know that. I haven't heard that, I guess. That's Tuesday's Gone's one of my favorite. It probably is my favorite Skynyrd song. I need to go find that. I might have heard it, but I don't remember hearing the Metallica cover. So I'll definitely have to go check that out. All right. Our last one, 1.8 thousand votes. Pretty simple. Which is better, boys? 308 Win or 6.5 Creed? Clover, we'll start with you on this one.
308.
Any reason why, or that's drop the mic? 308.
More OG, been around forever. 308 projectile, a lot of versatility in that
a little cheaper
diameter. Could be, yeah.
A little more. I don't know. It's you can find it pretty easy. I mean, I think 6.5 you can find now. It's a little more expensive, but yeah, 308. John, what about you?
I prefer Creed more.
Any specific reason why?
It feels like it shoots flatter.
Oh, it does. It's a very it's very much a flatter shooting. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't, and I'll caveat with this: I haven't taken 308 out to a long distance, but I've taken Creedmoor out to long distance, and everybody who was shooting 308 in the class was not reaching the distance we were with the 6.5 Creed.
I've never done a ballistics test. I would say that the 308 is going to get out to about the same maybe distances as a Creed would. But it's definitely going to be tougher to hit at, 1200, 1600, whatever. It can still reach out there. I think that 500 to 800 range, man, it's hard to beat a 308 in that 3 to 800 yard range. That's a great caliber. In that, I think when you get to 1,000, I think the Creedmoor probably does perform better because it is a little bit flatter. But yeah, no, you can't go wrong with either one of them. Chris, what about you? 308 or 6.5 Creed?
I had a hard one with this one. I love them both.
Yeah, I do too.
But 6.5 edges it just a little bit for me.
Yep. Any specific reason it does edge it?
I mean, for me, when I do go to the 1,000-yard ranges, it's easier for me to get out to 1,000 with Creedmoor.
Oh, it is.
308. Yeah. It's just a lot easier than I'm doing a lot of messing around with the scope with 308 trying to get out that far. So,
yeah.
But I love them both.
Fluffy says, if I can't get it done at 308, I'll grab the 338. I'm a big 338 Lapua guy. I wouldn't go from the 308 to the 338. There's got to be something, and there's things in between.
Win mag.
I go Win mag.
Sure.
300 Win mag. I think it would be a great in between. G Web says, like a fine wine, some of us get smoother with age. Kyle, 308 or 6.5 Creed, man?
308. Just for me, it's round I'm more familiar with. Yeah. And I don't fancy myself a sniper, so those 1,000-yard shots probably ain't going to happen for this guy. But I do love the versatility of a 308 round.
Yeah.
And I just don't have a lot of experience with 6.5. So if you're a 6.5 guy out there, don't take it to heart. I just don't have a lot of experience. Love what the 308 can do, and it's what I know.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the competition and all that, I think that 6.5 is a better cartridge for specific things. But yeah, I mean, I think people don't realize how versatile the 308 is. One is, like Clover said, it's been around forever. It is the OG, but it is versatile. I mean, look, I know guys that would go CQB and do room clearing with 308 rifles. I mean, it's not with a 308 gas, it's not the greatest thing, but you can do anything with a 308 that you can do with a 5.56. It's just going to be a little bit stronger and a little different for you, but it can still be used up close, not a problem. I think that you're wasting a 6.5 inside 300 yards. You're not wasting a 308 inside 300 yards. It's not ideal, but you can still do it. I think that the 3 to 5, like I said, 3 to 800, but I think that 3 to 500 yards is the absolute perfect range for the 308. It's where I think that it works at its best, is that 300 to 500 yard distances. Man, there's nothing better, I don't think, than a good 308. That's just me, though.
I was sighting in our breacher this week for that range day we got coming up. That's a 12.5 inch 308.
Yeah.
And dude, at 100 yards, it is driving tacks.
Yep.
And I love it because it's short enough. Like you said, you could take it into a house, clear rooms, whatever. And then if you needed to stretch out, that's available to you as well. So
yeah, so I don't think I've ever shot like a 12.5 308. Have you stretched its legs out? Like what distance do you think that is kind of like the max to like be really comfortable with? Is it about 3 to 500, or will it reach out to 500 more?
I don't know from experience, but I'd say 500, but okay. I wouldn't be surprised if it stretched further than 500.
Oh, I'm sure it will stretch further. Optimal, I think that with the 12.5, I figured, man, that 3 to 500 probably is pretty badass with that 12.5.
Yeah. The furthest I ever took the breacher is 150, and it was still on target. So
that's awesome. 1.8 thousand votes, 81%, I think, are correct that say the 308. I think they're correct. Snob says a 12.5-inch 308. That sounds awesome. I need one. Man, he's lobbying, bro. He's lobbying. I want to go back real quick because Marcus did kind of give us an update. Was it for last week or 2 weeks ago? Whenever, I think it was last week, talking about the gas block, the adjustable gas block. He said, follow up from last week. I put in the adjustable gas block and his wife's 300 blackout in an H1 buffer with $1.75 in quarters in the buffer tube, and the pistol runs like a sewing machine, no recoil at all. Well, there you go. So, Clover, you weren't here last week. Marcus was having issues with his 300 blackout being a little bit maybe too strong for his wife with recoil and all that. Was trying to figure out maybe an adjustable gas block. I think he said he had a pistol. Did he have a pistol or a carbine? I think he had a pistol length gas.
System. Probably most of them are.
And he was talking about changing out for an adjustable and all that. And it sounded like he did it, plus adding some quarters in the buffer tube.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds good. I'm glad that it all worked out.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The gas port typically, folks have learned over the years to really open up on the blackouts, really open up the gas port on the barrel. And so you can get some issues like that just because you've got, you've got that bigger hole in the barrel for the gas to go through. So being able to shut that down, crank that down a little bit, because that's not that big of a deal if you're, if you're depending on the load you're running, or if you're suppressed, or that sort of thing.
Yep. Midnight says a 12.5 308 fire breathing dragon. I bet you there's some good fireballs come out of that thing, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they're sweet.
Got to be a lot of unburnt powder for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. Interesting question. Defense Devs asked G-Webs, but I think this would be a fun one. I think I know where Clover will go, but let's just do this one. One caliber for the rest of your life. I don't give a shit about it being a Kel-Tec. I'm not going to play that. But you had to choose between a 22 LR or a 9mm, and you only get one of them for the rest of your life. Chris, what are you going to go with, 22 LR or 9mm?
I'm going 9.
Good man. I agree. Kyle?
You're going to hate me. 22 long rifle.
22. I don't hate you, but I just wasn't expecting that.
I love 9mm, but I mean, 22, you could hunt squirrels and stuff, and I'm going 22.
No. I there's not a wrong answer. I just wasn't expecting that. I thought you'd be a 9 guy for sure.
I am a 9 guy.
I know. Clover, I know where you're going.
Oh, without a doubt, man. You're talking about handguns, rifles, bolt actions, pumps, levers. It runs the gamut at firearms you could still have with 22 long rifle, and you're not going to be able to have that with 9mm.
Let's see here. Handguns, check. Rifles, check. PCCs, check. Bolt action. I don't know about bolt action, maybe not, but there are now 9mm levers out there. So
where?
POF.
Well, POF has a 9mm lever.
There. Yeah, I'm thinking traditional levers. Yeah, you're right.
And there is a 9mm bolt gun from World War II. The Destroyer was suppressed.
Well, also they've got the 22 TCM can do it too, but they're not plentiful. Is all I'm getting.
No, I understand. I was just calling you out on your mistake there. So
it wasn't a mistake. I mean, there's still way more variety.
It's a mistake.
Yeah.
But no, I understand where you're going. I think the 22 LR is obviously a much more versatile. It is also a lot cheaper. But yeah. Anyways, John, what about you?
Oh, I got to go 9mm for reliability and all the above.
Yep. No, I get it. G-Web says 9mm is like rust, just creeping its way all over the gun industry. It is what it is. It is what it is. Obviously, I'm going to go 9mm. I think everyone knows that. I do enjoy 22 LR. One of my favorite guns is that GSG, the MP5 and 22 LR. That's one of the most fun guns I own. It's a blast to go shoot that bad boy. No, I really enjoy it. But if I have, something sitting right in front of me in 22LR or 9 that says you can only have one of these for the rest of your life, it's going to be 9 for sure. But yeah, for sure. I saw something else up here that I wanted to bring up. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I don't see it. I should have started. Oh well.
Should go 30-06 versus 308 next week.
Ooh, that could be interesting. That would be interesting. I think that the 30-06 might actually could give. Well, okay. I think it could give the 308 a good run for its money, but with my audience, I think that the 308 still wins.
Lack of semi-auto options is going to kill it.
Yeah. I think if it's on a different channel, 30-06 might win, but I think on this channel, I think 308 would still win. But I'll still do that. I'll put 30-06 up there against 308 and see what happens. Interesting. I didn't even think about 30-aught.
Old Carlos Hathcock.
Carlos Hathcock. What did he have? About 97 kills in Vietnam. He was the first. Yeah, he was the first legend Marine Corps sniper.
First named legend, anyway.
Yeah. I mean, like he was the one. Like when I say legend, I mean you can't be a legend if no one knows your name. So,
93 confirmed kill.
93. I knew it was 90 something. Yeah.
I've got a good question for the group that was brought up this week while we were podcasting.
Okay.
So we're talking about 40 and how 40 is dead. And the guy who I was talking to from Ammo Squared brought up how 40 caliber handgun is the most versatile handgun and how you could do 40, 357 SIG and 9. I couldn't argue with him on it, but what do you guys think? I want to get your opinion on that too, because I'm like 40's dead, but he brought up a good point.
Okay, so I'll let the room talk about this, but I'm just going to make a quick comment. How can 40 be so good if the only good thing about it is you can chamber it in 3 different cartridges?
That was my point too.
Like if it's so good, then you wouldn't care about 357 SIG, which I love, by the way.
And unlike a 357 revolver, which you can shoot 38, or the 450, or the 4, what am I thinking? Or the 460 Smith & Wesson, which you can shoot 454 Casull and 45 Colt without having to do anything else.
You have to change. Yeah.
Be able to do it. Yeah. If you could just
you
drop it in, maybe.
You had to convert the 40 into those other things.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, for me, how can something be so good if the only good thing about it is you can convert it easily to 3 different things? I don't know. That's just me. Run through the room real quick, Chris.
I bought a Glock 22 because it was super cheap, a used one, and then I put a 9mm conversion barrel on it right away because I didn't want to shoot 40. So that's my take on it. I don't like
the way that 40 shoots. A lot of people do, right? There's a lot of people that enjoy the 40. I just don't. Like it doesn't do anything for me. It just doesn't. Kyle, what about you? Are you a 40 guy at all?
Zero experience with 40.
You're not missing anything. My personal opinion. Clover 40. I know that you don't hate it, but are you a fan of 40?
I don't know. I dislike it pretty heavily. I have let go of, sold very few firearms, and
most of them were 40.
A Glock 22 and a Kel-Tec Sub 2000, and both in 40 were 2 of them.
Now I will say this. That I think maybe a PCC would be a lot better in 40 than a handgun in 40. Did you get rid of the Kel-Tec because it's a Kel-Tec or because it's in 40?
I traded it for a 9.
Okay, so it wasn't the sub 2000 you did like. It was the 40.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've ever. I think I probably have. I don't remember ever shooting a PCC in 40. Yeah. But I bet you it'd be better to shoot in a PCC than it would be in a handgun.
Not in the Kel-Tec, it wasn't. The first gen Kel-Tecs were kind of knobby. I don't even know how to describe it on the stock. And that 40 would eat your shoulder up, man. It was like a rasp or a bastard file or something on your shoulder. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
9 wasn't quite as bad.
The sub 2000 is just not a comfortable gun to shoot, so I can't imagine with 40. It's got to be
especially the early models for sure.
Well, even my Gen 2 is not the most comfortable gun to shoot.
Yeah. No. Well, I'm not saying that the sub 2000 is a great gun. What makes it a great gun, in my opinion, is it opened the doors for the PCCs to. It wasn't the first PCC, but it was definitely the first PCC that kind of made companies go, "Oh, we could do like that, something like that with it." I think that there's always going to be a place for the sub 2000 in history, because I think that it kind of kicked off the PCC revolution, if you will. I think that was the first one that companies said, "Okay, like we can make this work somehow." It created almost a demand for better, but more PCCs. Snob says, I've owned a bunch of 40s over the years. I don't hate 40 unless it's out of a G27 that was miserable, but I only have a couple of 40s left. One of them is my Rainbow High Point, and the other is the CHP gun. I don't own, and I don't think I've ever owned a 40. Well, that's not true. I owned a 40 and converted it, but I converted it like this at the same time that I got it to 357 SIG. But I've never bought anything to actually shoot a 40. I'm not a big fan. It doesn't do anything for me. It's not a bad round. I just don't like it personally. So what's your take on it, Ginger? Like, I know that you said that you were talking about it, but like, what's your take on it?
For me, as a round, 40 is dead. 40 is just dead. And Calaveras put it best. I won a Shield 40 at one point, a Gen 1 Shield 40. I won it at an event, and I immediately got rid of it after shooting it. It's one of those things, but he brought the point of the versatility of the handgun itself, not the caliber. So it was like the 40 caliber handgun is probably, if you were to think about versatility and ammo compatibility and interchangeability, the 40 would be, if you were looking for one handgun to do 3 calibers, the 40 would be it. Because you're
talking about a 40 caliber handgun, that discussion is different than the 40 Smith & Wesson discussion. That's a specific cartridge. A 40 caliber handgun is different. What's that?
Assuming it's even a model that can be converted in the first place.
True.
Well, it's just he had a Glock 23 and he converted it to the 3 calibers. So that was his argument that 40 isn't dead, or his argument was 40 was dead, but like the 40 caliber handgun is the best overall handgun because you could do so much. But I don't think that was.
I still don't think it's the best out there. I think that the 40 caliber handgun is a versatile handgun, but that doesn't make it the best out there.
My comeback to his Glock 23 statement would be, name another handgun that you can do that with, please. And that would probably end the conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably do it with what?
No, I understand there's other stuff you could do it, but I mean, is he even aware of it? There's not that many. There really isn't.
No, the only 2 that came to mind when he said that was the Glocks and the MMPs.
MMP. That's the one that I had with MMP. Yep.
At that point, are you spending more money on converting than you would on getting a dedicated handgun?
Yes, you are. because for the most part, the vast majority of 40 handguns, if you're going to try to do a conversion, it's going to have to be way aftermarket parts. Someone's going to have to come up with that because I'm trying to think of something that I can't even think of one.
No, because even like the Berettas, you'd have to do a full side change.
No, it's a complete change. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you might as well just buy a different caliber. I can't think of anything like off the top of my head. I'm sure there are out there besides the Glock and the M&P, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Well, and this whole thing came about because we were talking about the two ammo runs we had. We had the 2012 to 2015 ammo run, and then we had the 2020 to 2022 ammo run. And the reason why this came up was back in the 20.
Yeah, the 320, the SIG P320.
Yeah.
You can.
And the two.
And that was actually one of the things when that gun came out, that was actually one of the big selling points for the 320. That's actually kind of what won for them. The modularity of that is what won the military contract. Yeah, you're right. The 320 was for sure. It was actually designed to do that. So yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So the whole talk was like in the 2012 ammo run, 40 was still available. So you assume that 40 was ammo run proof. And then this last ammo run, what came about was it wasn't 40 anymore. It was the oddball calibers. So what really the question comes down to is what is ammo run proof? What caliber right now, if you were to think of a caliber, what caliber would be ammo run proof? If we have the same thing that happens again.
Any of them, if you do what you're supposed to do and buy it and put it up. Just saying.
Right. But if you did it.
I would think 22, but there were times where you couldn't even find
22 is one of the worst during the crisis.
I think what John's trying to say is
22
40 is always still on the shelves when
it was.
When we have the ammo runs.
22. One of the things about 22 that you got to keep in mind is that when we're talking about the shortages, and this last shortage we went through, there was still feeling some of the ripple effects because of it in the component world. And you got to realize that with 22, you don't have the need for primers. So any of those shortages like that happens because of that, and powder to an extent too, is a completely different game when you're talking about rimfire.
But let me ask you this real quick, because I don't know anyone that does. I'm not saying there isn't, but like, are there people that will load 22 LR? Like that doesn't that to me just doesn't seem like that would be.
You can, and it's absolutely as inaccurate as it can. It's horribly inaccurate.
I would imagine that it can't be easy, and it's really, to me, they say that 9mm is kind of like not even really worth loading, for cost savings and all. I can't imagine 22 LR being worth loading. Well, now, unless it's like you can't get it, that's one thing. But I don't know. I don't know anyone that's ever loaded 22 LR. That's just me.
Well, there's two ways that you can do it, I guess, effectively. The problem with a rimfire is the primer. It doesn't have a primer you can knock out and just put another one in. Yeah. Right. The primer is built into the rim. And so you can reload it and just make sure that you're hitting it on a different spot of the primer. That's how come when you get a fail to fire, sometimes you can take the round out, put it back in 180 degrees or something, and get it to go off, right? So you can do that, and assuming that you're picking up your brass and you're keeping it in a clean, dry place, and you're not contaminating the inside of the case, you can do that. The problem is the way that the bullet and the case on a 22 long rifle is the exact same. It's the exact same diameter. And the way that it is heel, I guess it's called a heel crimp. I could be wrong on that. That's what I call it anyway. But it's heel crimped. So it's really weird. It doesn't have like you pick up a 9mm and you start your thumbnail at the top of the bullet and you run down to the case and your thumbnail is going to hang right on the case mount. That's not the case with 22 long rifle. It's literally crimped into. So doing all that's a pain in the butt. And like I said, repriming it is a big pain in the butt if you're going to try to do that. So absolutely not worth doing. And even if you do, because I've done it before, and even if you do it, the accuracy, even at 20, 25 yards, is atrocious compared to the exact same stuff that, you know what I'm saying? The exact same.
Well, yeah, you can go and get match grade 22 LR for precision competitions, and it's going to be a little bit more than, the crap.
Oh, it's going to be considerably more, but yeah, I hear you.
But it's still not like crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's the same.
And I would imagine the match grade stuff, it's probably worth spending that little bit more than trying to reload a match grade.
No. You wouldn't even attempt to reload for match purposes of 22 long rifle. You would not even attempt to do that. It's not that doesn't even enter a competitor's mind to do that because it's so atrocious. It's just the nature of that cartridge. But to the match you're talking about, for a 50-round box of quality match stuff, you're going to pay what you pay for a 500-round box of normal stuff, right? For a 50-round. And then, but here's the thing, in one of my oldest videos, oh man, atrocious, horrible quality video too. I did a series, I think it may have even been 3 videos before I went through a bunch of different ammunitions. And I use Ely Black Box. I've got a pretty big surplus of that from back in the competition days still. And it's amazing. So I went through all the standard deviations as far as measurements and weights and then groups and all this other stuff. So there was stuff out there, like let's say Remington Golden Bullet, right, would have like a 8 thousandths, a 15 thousandths deviation. Ely Black Box match, 0 across an entire lot.
Really?
0, yes, 0, not 1,000th deviation, 0 deviation across an entire lot.
Crazy.
And so you've talked before about your lots and paying attention to your lots. That's why you pay attention to your lots.
And
all of mine is the same lot. Every bit of it I've got stockpiled up is all the same lot number. But I got literally tired of measuring.
How do they manage that in such a small
quality control,
cartridge?
dude? They've got somebody standing there. That's why it costs more, right?
Yeah.
Because they literally have to put the manpower into. First of all, they have to have the newest, the best quality tooling, right? All the time. If it gets the slightest bit out of spec, it's got to be replaced. And then you've got to have your monitoring of that, right? To make sure that nothing's worked loose, that it's not gotten out of spec. And then you got to have the stuff coming out of the machines to double check all of that, right? To make sure that nothing's getting beat around, banged around, or out of spec. So just like in the firearm world where we talk about all the time, like over and unders, for example, right? You can get an over and under for, in that $500 to $1,000 range that you can go out and have fun. And it's a nice over and under. You don't got to spend $5,000 on one. But if you go spend $5,000 on one, you understand
you're going to see the difference.
You understand why it's $5,000. If somebody has sat there and polished the metal and polished the wood and stained it and hand rubbed oil into it and all this other stuff, right?
They like hand rubbing the wood.
Oh yeah, we all do, I guess, right?
Wow, sorry I had to say that.
Anyway,
wow, Rich White, you remember? Interesting. Thank you. 1% out there.
Speaking
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, speaking of conversions, when we're talking about going from 40 to 3, I watched a really cool video last night. Trigger Bar Philosopher took his FNX 45 and converted it to a 460 Roland. Wow, that is nice. One cool round right there.
Oh yeah, Johnny Roland.
I don't think I've ever shot the 460 before.
Yeah, pretty neat.
That is pretty cool.
I've got. I'm pretty sure I had Johnny Roland on the podcast once. If anybody wants the history of the 460 Roland.
Yeah, I don't think if I have, I don't know, but I don't think I've ever shot that. It's a pretty. I mean, it sounds like it'd be
It's
pretty
cool.
fun to shoot.
Yeah, it's cool. You see it in 1911s a lot.
Yeah. But he said on the video that it's got 1/3 more power than 10 millimeter.
How much more?
A third
really?
more. And when you buy the conversion, it comes with a big brake that you got to put on the end of that barrel.
Interesting.
Yeah, you ought to check it out. It's pretty cool.
Let's do this real quick because I think this will be interesting. 10 millimeter or 45? Let's start with Ginger on this one.
Oh, that's tough. I'm going to go with 10 mil on this one.
Yep. Chris, what about you?
Yeah, I got to go 10. I do like 45, but not as much as I like 10.
Yeah. Kyle?
10 mil.
Clove?
Man, I love the recoil impulse and all on a 45. Mm-hmm. Absolutely love it. Mm-hmm. Especially in pistol caliber, and PCCs and stuff like that. Oh my gosh. That being said, I think I enjoy the availability, the variety of stuff that's available in 10 millimeter or more. So 10 millimeter.
Yeah, I think that the last few years with companies doing more and having a lot more options in 10 millimeter out there, and they're, like you said, they're doing them in PCCs now too. But the 10 millimeter I think is a really, really, really fun cartridge to shoot. I really enjoy the 10 millimeter. Pretty versatile. Nothing against the 45. I just, it was so weird because when I choose calibers and all of that, I choose them because how much I enjoy shooting them. And it's not that I don't enjoy a 45, but over the last couple of years, I think the gun that really did it for me was that Ronin 10 millimeter 1911. I love that gun. I just love that gun. But I think that's really what sold the 10 millimeter on me was just shooting that gun is a blast. And I just enjoy it. And this to say is, I'm trying to think, but I don't remember any guns that I've shot that are in 10 that I've just disliked. I might have disliked some of the feelings of the actual gun, but shooting a 10 is fun, man. And another thing is a 45. I enjoy the 10 better. What was that say? Oh, 4 years ago. You found it, Chris, huh? So Clover, yeah, you did have him on 4 years ago on the podcast.
He's a character, man. I think you'll enjoy that conversation because he is a character. But yeah.
I think Rich B is a little bit behind, but yes, Rich, you can switch your 23 to 9. You can either do a barrel swap, or if you have a Gen 3 23, you can get a slide and barrel from Anderson Manufacturing and put that slide and barrel on.
How about that?
Always plugging away there for Kyle.
And if you're going to do that, you're going to go to Anderson's website. You can use a couple codes to save you some money. Either use the code GHOST or use the code Chris from the 740. Either one will get you a little discount over at Anderson. So do that.
Or Clover Tag.
Or Clover's got a code too.
He does.
Snap. So I wouldn't use Clover's.
How does one get a code? I mean, I'm the only one without a code here.
Nah.
Yeah, you have to molest Kyle. Just saying. He enjoys a good molestation every now and then.
Well, I already know what your code is, John.
All right.
Hashtag Pony Express 2024, baby.
There we go.
I would just say I think Ginger would be a good one, but nobody wants to type Ginger. Like,
yeah, that's kind of dirty.
I think Pony Express needs to be the way it goes.
So when is that coming out?
What's up?
When's that Pony Express coming out?
Word on the street is sometime in August.
It might be wood, that they're going to paint, but he's there. There will be. I mean, we might get Clover to do a 3D printed, something.
It is Tennessee. I might be on the front porch whittling out the Pony Express.
Whittling. He said whittling.
Kyle's gonna show up to goals with a toy side-by-side shotgun and hand it to me and go, "Here's your Pony Express. Have a good day."
Oh yeah. Wait, didn't we evolve this last week? I can't remember. We evolved it into something crazy, but
well, Artec keeps saying Project Pony, so I don't know what Project Pony is.
That's the 10mm Kiger, I believe. Wait, no. Artac's doing a 10.5 inch 300 blackout barrel swap.
That's what it was. That's right. That's right. He wanted a 300 blackout. The 300 blackout in the front line is what, 7.5?
7.5, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people are asking for the 10.5 300 blackout, so it's gonna happen.
I remember and damn, it might have been when you were at Faxon, John. Man, I think that it's when you were at Faxon, you and I were talking about something, and I don't know if you guys did the testing or there was some testing that was done with 300 blackout, and they said like a 10.3 to be 100% exact was like the optimal ballistic length of a barrel for a 300 blackout. Was that?
It was when I was at Faxon, but it was with Q. I think Q and us partnered up to figure that out, and then they did, like Clover said, they started opening up the gas port for suppressor optimization on those, but yeah, it's like, you're right, it's like 10.3 or 10 it's in between, because there was a 7.5 inch, and then there was an 8.5 inch, and then everybody wanted to do like the 10.3 or the 10.5 variant, and then I think there was an 11.5 at one point, but
yeah,
general consensus even back in the Whisper days was 10 inch.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Clove. Back in the Whisper days, was that designed to be suppressed as well, or was it supposed to be? So how were the gas systems back then with the Whisper days? That's what I'm saying.
Really.
So I was going to ask you, did the adjustable gas block, did that change? Did that almost make the 300 blackout like what it is?
No. Okay. No. It was. I think it was popular. It had gained traction long before then because people had realized that you go pistol length system. Even if you're going to go, that doesn't mean you have to have a pistol for everybody out there. You can have a 16 inch or an 18 inch or a 20 inch barrel with a gas system.
Yeah.
But pistol gas system, and then where was I going with that? Oh, and then opening up the gas port. And so, that was a big deal back in the day. I mean, I can't tell you how many gas ports I've had to drill over the years. And so that was one of the main things. The adjustable thing to me, unless there's some type of specific application or something, is a Band-Aid fix or a specific niche fix of some kind.
I think that the adjustable is just an easier way when you go from unsuppressed to suppressed.
So
it's easier.
I don't have an adjustable gas block on a single 300 blackout, and I got more 300 blackouts than people probably have ARs, some people. And I don't have a single adjustable gas block on any of them, and I go suppressed and not suppressed and supersonic and all kinds of crazy stuff with them. So that's what I'm saying. Unless you're running a specific load, you've got some type of specific objective. I think this is mine just from being around, seeing the Whisper turn into the blackout and then come into the AR platform over the decades. This is just my thoughts, my opinion based on that. But again, I think an adjustable gas block is like a Band-Aid niche fix. I don't think if everything else is right, I don't think you got to have that.
Yep.
I'm going to agree with Clover on this. The adjustable gas block was a fix for the gas port hole not being opened up. And then when people started opening up the gas port holes, and we had, because it was, if you were running subsonic
But you get overgas too. But that's usually
Yeah.
a buffer issue or something that can, or a longer. You've got pigtailed gas tubes and stuff. You've got other things that you can tweak for that dwell time to compensate. Again, you don't have to have the adjustable gas block.
Right.
Now I do have. Let me back up. I lied. I do have a 300 blackout with an adjustable gas block. But here's the thing. It is. It's got a plate in it that switches left and right. And I can't remember, Micro MOA maybe was the brand back in the day. So and you could buy different plates that had even like 3 or 4 different settings in them. So mine is an all on or an all off setting. There's a reason for that, and that's because it's a side charger. So if I want to, I can cut the gas completely off, and you talk about quiet. I can cut the gas completely off and work it like a bolt action.
I would say you'd almost have to work like a bolt action, wouldn't you?
Oh, you do. It shuts the gas completely off.
So you're not going to have any of that to.
But also, the only sound you've got. I mean, obviously, suppressors are not movie quiet, but the only sound you got from the rifle that's from the action is the firing pin dropping.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. Fluffy says his 300 blackout bolt gun with a can on it. It's super quiet.
My 308. I've got a Ruger American 308, and it with my subsonic 168 grain subsonic loads is basically my Coyote load. That thing, there are pellet rifles that are louder than that 308.
Wow.
It's insane. Yeah. You get coyotes that are 50, 75 yards away. And especially if they're yapping like they do, and you can get them worked up or excited, whether you bait them out or you have some kind of weird call that flutters around or something, and you can get them to make any kind of noise, they absolutely cannot hear that rifle. There's no way they're hearing it over the little bit of yapping and stuff. It's amazingly quiet. It is almost movie quiet.
I'm trying to decipher what our multi-personality friend out there is saying. Remedial number 1, gas or whatever goes bad, you gotta go bolt action, even if it's belt fed.
Oh,
I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I don't understand what that just means.
I think he's saying that if you got a semi-auto basically that fails, you're remediated to work manually working the action.
I get it, but even if it's a belt fed, yes.
Sit there on the 240 and
can you imagine doing this the whole
every
freaking
time?
No.
All right.
I'd rock the 50. I'd rock the M2 like that.
You're outside your mind.
Hey, that thing is a precise tool.
Oh, I love the Modus. Don't get me wrong. I just don't want to have to recharge it every single time. Oh my God. What were you saying, John?
Well, I've got something that just came across my little alert here for teams. And I want to get your guys' all opinion on this. The FTC, which is the Federal Trade Commission, just announced that there is a ban on non-competes, that nobody can do non-competes anymore. So what does that mean for the firearms industry?
Are you talking about compete for like?
If you leave a company, you can go to a company who does the same.
I mean,
or if you sell your company, I guess.
Yeah, or you sell your company. Yeah.
I think that I don't think it's going to be a huge thing, only because you still have to work around patents. You know, it's not like you can leave one company and say, well, we're going to do this over here, because you still have patent shit you got to deal with. But I don't know. I don't think it's that big. I mean, I think that gives the people, I don't think there should be no compete clauses. I think that if someone wants to go and work somewhere else, they should be able to go work somewhere else. That's just me, but maybe I'm just wrong about that. I don't know.
No, because for our industry, the issue is like, let's just say some big name marketer or somebody who's a designer
Sure.
leaves the company, they can't go to another company and design a new handgun. There's a no compete. So what innovation will that bring to our industry? If some of these guys can go, I mean, you're right, patents are still there, but they're basically the FTC is saying like it is causing people not to think outside of the box. So what does that mean for us as an industry? Will we have more people moving around with bigger ideas? Are we going to see new things now if this goes into effect? I mean, I'd love to get Kyle's opinion on this too, because it could be,
I think it's going to be
different.
great. What if I work with Kyle at Anderson and I keep coming up with ideas? Let's just say I've got an idea for the Pony Express, or I've got an idea for a 10 millimeter Kiger, or a 10.5 300 blackout. And every time I go to a meeting, that company is saying no, no, no. Well, if I'm able to go to another company and they say, hell yeah, that sounds awesome.
So,
like, how could that be bad for the industry, or at least for the consumers? Maybe bad for the industry, but not bad for consumers.
Yeah, but you're not. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, man. So you're saying you're going to the company and they're telling you no. So they're not telling you yes and making it. That's a whole different thing. So then you're going to leave and go to the other company and get them to build it. And that has nothing to do with competing.
Sure it does.
No, you're not making the product.
If I'm working at one company and I bring up a design idea, most of the time when you have a design idea, when you're working for XYZ company, that design idea, whether they build it or not, is property of that company. But if there's a no compete saying, hey, you can leave and go design whatever the hell you want, I'm taking the designs with me, because if it works the way it's supposed to, those designs are no longer intellectual property of that company. It's the designer's property.
Okay, now look where you own that company. Like, look at it from a different perspective real quick. You're looking at it as a guy supposedly that's got the ideas. And either way,
I'm just going by what John brought an example up, bro.
The people
I'm just expanding on that.
But you've got parties entering into an agreement. So for the federal government to then come in and go, hey, y'all can't enter into an agreement. Like, who's the federal government to say that two private entities can't enter into an agreement? That's an agreement. And you sign that agreement, or you agree to it, or you don't agree to it. You've got a choice.
Yeah. And what I'm saying to you is, I think it's going to be good for consumers. I think that it's going to be good for.
I think it will, but
that's my whole fucking point, bro.
Consumers, I would agree. The industry, I don't.
Did I not say it's great for consumers? Did I not say that?
Yes, I agree with you on that. That's not the end I'm arguing. I'm arguing the industry end. I don't agree with, and from freedom and liberty.
It's not just the gun industry. This is in general. This isn't just for the two-way community. I mean, a non-compete clause, if they're saying there's going to be no more non-compete clauses, I don't know. I don't see that as a bad thing. We don't have to agree. Go ahead, John.
Oh, look at it this way, Clover. If you come up with, let's just say you work for Anderson, you come up with this newfangled idea, right? And they say, no, we're not going to make it. So then you guys, screw it. I'm going to go start my own company. If they have a non-compete on you for 5 years, that newfangled idea might be outdated by the time you get going. Now you can go and start your own company and get the ball rolling. Or let's just say you work for Kyle at Anderson and Stag you go, hey, Stag, I got this idea. I'm going to come over and work for you. Like that just says to me like that the non-compete clause, and I don't like that the government's controlling it, right? But to get rid of that just gives us as consumers innovative stuff, right?
Okay. So company A, they've got bad man. I'm not going to name any names because it's pointless here. Company A could really do some good work. They could really do some cool stuff, but they're bad at some management and they got some other issues. Company B comes in and says, hey, we want to buy you out. And company B is amazing. And company B can really turn things around. And as Ghost said, it could be a major win for the consumer. because they're going to take company A stuff and just ramp it up to turn
Someone
the
needs to come
notch
in
up
and
to
buy
11.
Keltec and just do it better.
So,
I'm just saying.
right.
Just saying.
And I didn't want to mention any names, but anyway, so
I'll throw it out there.
company B says, hey, if we're going to pay $800 million for this business, you can't compete. Sorry, which makes total freaking sense. So then they spend the $800 million and they buy out this company, right? Then this company takes that $800 million. Oh, the government said we can't have no compete. So then this company A takes that $800 million, right? And they go put that in with seed money with some other investors. And they turn around and they do what company B bought the company to do in the first place.
Unless there's patents on them. The non-compete does not supersede patents. You still have to worry about patents. If there's a patent on XYZ design, it doesn't matter where you go, it's still a patent.
Well, and you're talking about buying out the patents too. That would be
if you buy a company, but we're not talking about a non-compete. A non-compete is to work in a competing place or whatever. You still have patents, and I think that this is what's gonna happen. Is maybe these companies are going to be, and I think they're very comfortable. I mean, they're very careful with patents, obviously, but I think that R&D designs and testing is going to become a little bit more tighter to get out. But I don't see where a non-compete, the elimination of non-compete, is bad, because in the firearm industry, we're talking at this point marketing strategies, CEOs, all of this stuff. That's the kind of person you're talking about benefiting other companies in the firearm world, because you're not going to be able to move companies and say, well, I'm going to go design this gun over here because it's patented. Now, if they're not going to patent it, that's their own damn fault to begin with. If company A is not going to patent designs, whether they're going to use them or not, because a lot of these companies, and Kyle, I want to bring you in because John's going to bring you in, but like at Anderson, like any design that's intellectual property. If someone is an employee at Anderson, they come up with some random, let's say the Pony Express design, is that intellectual property with Anderson since you work there and you designed it at the facility, or can they take that design with them if it's not patented?
No, it belongs to Anderson. But I think that patent belongs to this guy named John. So
I hope to God John has patented that. You might want to think about that, brother.
Let me go trademark that real quickly. And,
I'm not talking about trade. Well, you can trademark the name too, but
I think maybe John Patton's already got the patent. But I'm just saying.
That's probably true.
Here's my thing, okay. And Wes said it's taken away from the free market and trying to force innovation. The biggest complaint from all of us is that there's no innovation in the firearms industry.
And I think that they're wrong when they say that.
I don't say that. I don't say that. Go to SHOT Show and walk around.
No, I understand what you're saying.
You understand what I'm
in
saying.
General, yes, I understand what you're saying.
Complain, and people who go outside the box, let's just say, like 2 years ago, bullpup revolver. We all thought that was cool. It was
the idea was badass.
Also the idea was badass, but the execution was poorly. Yeah. But my thing is like, okay, cool. There's these small companies coming up with these innovative ideas that don't get really far off the ground in the basement.
Yeah.
But to be honest, that's just how it goes.
That's reality.
But if there was if they had a no compete or something like that, that would limit them. But if, let's just say, and take Clover's example, somebody buys that, or goes, hey, Mr. Engineer from company A, we know that the thing's not coming off the ground and there's no patents on this. Let's just say what it is. There's no patents. This could force innovation into the firearms industry that we want to see instead of the same three things over and over again. That's what I was getting at. It's like, this is an opportunity for at least our industry to see some major leaps, because I was talking about it this week. It was there's the firing of a cartridge from a firearm has not changed in the last 100 years, right? But then anytime somebody comes up with something that's a weird design, and the big point would be like Taurus, who's notorious for coming up with weird designs, we all poop on it. But we also all yell that we want innovation and we want something different. Yeah. Could this lead to seeing what we want? Is the ultimate question.
And I'll go back to what I was saying before is I don't know as far as innovation goes. It all depends on how these companies are structured as far as the property. Is it patent? Is it not patent? Is it intellectual property that belongs to that company that you can't take it with you over here? I don't know. I think where in the firearms world, we all know this, that marketing in the 2A realm is much different than marketing. You know, marketing the 2A world is a lot like marketing with cigarettes, and you got to be really, really careful because a lot of people aren't going to utilize firearm stuff in magazines, online, and all that. It's just the way it is. So it's a tricky game. There are some people that are remarkably good at it. And the fact of the matter is if there's a non-compete and whatever happens, whether that person wants to leave or that company gets rid of them for whatever reason, because maybe they cost too much at that point. They know they're good, but they want 3 times what they wanted, 3 years ago. They get rid of them. Well, now that marketing person that could really help out someone else, especially maybe a smaller company, to grow, now has the availability to go work. I think that the firearms industry is so different in the marketing and advertising world that I think the marketing side is really could benefit from the non-compete, the getting rid of the non-compete. I think that we see people changing jobs all the time in sales and all of that stuff. That's just part of our industry, but you could probably count on 1 or 2 hands the truly great marketers in our industry. There's a lot of people that do a good job, but there are some people that are really good at marketing. And if something should happen and they're not able to work in the industry for 3 to 5 years, that hurts the industry. I don't know if it's going to be a design revolution because of this. Like I said, I don't see that because I think a lot of this still comes down to design patents and all of that. Kyle, I want to bring you in because John initially wanted you to talk, and I talked much longer than I should have.
No, I mean, you guys covered it. I think it's a double-edged sword. I think it's got its positives and its negatives. My question on this thing is, and I'm not the smartest guy out there, so I just need some help. Take a marketing guy, for instance, and he goes to another company or she goes to another company, and someone calls the compete clause on that marketer. How are you going to prove that? You can't really patent like marketing ideas. I guess if you had like a certain schedule and you took that same schedule to company X, then yeah, I guess. Maybe
it's going to make a lot of lawyers money.
That's it. That's it.
Here's what I'll say to Kyle. Like when I left Faxon, I had a no compete where I couldn't go to another AR parts manufacturer.
For how long?
When I left True Shot, I couldn't go to another ammo.
For how long?
2 years.
There you go.
So that's where I think that would change. Is like if let's just take, and people are not going to know their name, so who cares of the name? But let's just say if I were to take Donahue from Arrow and drop him into another, let's just say Roscoe, another AR barrel, what would that do for that company? If he didn't have a no compete.
I'll take you one more because we're talking about great marketing directors, right? There's a handful of them that are great in our industry. That said, I'm just going to use this as an example. one of the best marketers out there is not just maybe the marketing side, but in all of that is Adam at Century, right? I think Adam's one of those marketing people that everyone knows in the industry, right? What if Adam had, what if John was Adam's second in command? A young up and coming marketing guy learning from Adam, who's a great marketing guy. And now he's working with this. And let's say, I'm just going to throw a name out there. Let's say Cox Arms. Let's say Michael wants to hire John, who's not the marketing director, but he's next up and coming, learning from one of these guys that are considered one of the best in the industry, right? And I want to give him his first marketing director gigs. I think that what he's learning over there from Adam can really come over here to my AR company and turn it around. That's the free market, right? That's free market. But John might not be able to go because of a non-compete clause. That hurts a lot of different people. Now he's stuck in that job at Century for maybe ever, because even if he wanted to leave, he can't work in the industry or in that same company or different company for 3 to 5 years.
But not all employees have non-competes. It's usually
I understand that. I'm just saying,
major employees, isn't it?
Yeah, but let's just say if XYZ company has all of their employees on a non-compete, I'm just saying, what if? Now eliminating the non-compete takes all that out of the thing. If I'm a junior marketing executive and I'm learning from John and I work for John and I have an opportunity now to go work at XYZ firearm company because they think that I'm young, I've got some good ideas, but I've learned from John on how to do things the right way, maybe how to do launches, how to do this, that, and the other. Hey, we want to give you a shot at, we're a smaller company, but we want to give you your own marketing director position. And now I can't because of a non-compete. I think this elimination of the non-compete actually works. I think it helps. I think it brings us back into the free market. It allows us to go and shop ourselves and shop our abilities and shop us as a commodity, us, like me as a commodity, to better myself and to better other companies and not have to worry about not being able to work for certain companies for 2 years because of a non-compete clause. I don't know. I don't care. I just think, I think that there's going to be some bad parts of it, but I think truly getting rid of non-compete clauses is going to maybe push companies to respect and treat their employees better, because now there is the fear of those employees leaving at any given time. What if they're willing to give better raises now? What if they're be willing to give more PTO? What if they'd be willing to give better insurance policies to their employees because they realize that if I don't take care of my employees better, they can leave at any given time and go work for my direct competitor that might offer a better package to them. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't think it could be. I mean, who knows? I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing though. Do I know who Ben Hogan is? Yes, Ben Hogan's one of my heroes of golf. So when I turned pro, I loved Hogan clubs, and I still do to this day. My biggest goal was to be sponsored by Ben Hogan so that I would be able to use a golf bag with Ben Hogan's name on it, and I did. I was on staff with Ben Hogan for several years, so yes, I'm a very big fan of Ben Hogan. Sorry, that was weird. I just saw that out there. Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
So Wes brought up, there's trade secrets and that could be damaging to a company. I believe most of those trade secrets, like if it's a recipe or something like that, those are protected.
Intellectual property. Or patents. Yeah.
What I'm seeing more of like, hey, like you're right. If I were to take marketing strategy is not intellectual property. It's a strategy to come up with, and absolutely. Everybody copies other people's marketing strategies. But to have the ability to bring over somebody who's worked in that, who knows what they're doing, it could be a game changer for some of these smaller companies that we see come up and disappear, or even a company that's struggling. I mean, there's a lot of companies struggling right now in our industry. This could be the game changer that they need. It's and somebody brought up like that's what happened. West did, and West brings up a good point. The low CEO was at Home Depot. He left to go to JCPenney for 5 years because there's a non-compete for 5 years. He had to.
Yeah.
I mean, this gives the ability in my eyes to, put the best person who's qualified for the job in the job they need. And you're absolutely right. If I'm not being treated right at company A, why would I stay if I could go to company B and do the same thing I was doing,
It's a tough conversation. I mean, I to just focus in on the gun industry is unfair. Because this is going to be over industry in general in America if this is the case. Now, that said, I think where there could be on the flip side some weird stuff happening is now if I am a junior sales associate for XYZ company, and I'm the entitled 24-year-old that believes I should be an executive right out of college, and I feel like that I am being held back by my employer, and now I want to go work for their direct competitor and take quote-unquote trade secrets, which are not protected. I think that that's going to happen too. But I think in general, when you force companies, I'm all for free market, okay? But I also I don't like big conglomerate corporations, because we've got one here in the state of Arkansas. It's one of the biggest in the world, in Walmart, and I have a lot of friends of mine that work for them, and they make good money, but they're treated like trash. Why? Because it's a huge company. But I think when you have the ability to leave a company and go work for a competitor, and not because there's some vendetta against that company to go work for their direct competitor. If you're good at what you do, and let's say, big box retail, and you're good at your job, there's only so many big box retails out there that you can work at, that you can continue to be good at. So you're moving to a company that you're going to be successful at, and now you're able to, because those non-competes aren't working. I think that's going to force these companies to treat their employees better. And I think ultimately that's really what the end goal is. Go ahead.
Okay, so Second Amendment argument here, but do you really? And so let me throw out an analogy. So gun control regulations don't affect criminals. Is this coming down and the government forcing businesses to do certain things? Is it really going to affect the big, huge conglomerates that have all kinds of lawyers on standby and everything else? Or is it going to hurt the smaller businesses that really need to be the freedom to operate?
I think it helps the smaller companies now. That's my whole point. I think if once again, I'm just going to throw company names out there, people. Let's say that you've got a junior marketing analyst at Glock who works for the marketing director, and let's just assume that the marketing director at Glock is considered one of the best in the industry, and he has 4 people working underneath them, and they're learning from one of the best. And there's a new up-and-coming company that has really good products, but they just are terrible at marketing. And they want to go after one of these junior marketing analysts from Glock. Now they can, because they have availability, where before, I'm sure Glock has a non-compete. The huge conglomerates are going to have the non-compete because they don't want their people to leave to go help out a smaller company to grow. Now the non-competes are gone, you're going to have opportunities for people leaving these big conglomerates to go to these smaller companies to actually make these smaller companies a bona fide, legitimate player in the industry. Because we know that marketing is at least half the game in this. It's not the designs. You can have the best design in the world, but if your marketing sucks, your company's going nowhere. Go ahead, Kyle.
I think, and Clover, correct me if I'm wrong, I think what Clover's getting at is Glock could go after that small company and
Not
literally
anymore.
smother them out in court.
Yep.
Not anymore.
Exactly. They can time up with BS. You can sue
How?
somebody for whatever you want to sue them for.
They can do that now if they wanted to.
Right,
but not if they've got an
they can't sue them because
if they've got an ex-employee. But if they've got
an ex-employee, they can't sue them for it now.
Okay.
Not for the non-compete stuff is what Clover's getting at. For other stuff, like
they can do that now though if they wanted to.
But they wouldn't if their employee wasn't there.
Yeah, you said the word perfection. If we're using Glock, use the word perfection in this market.
You can't. That's trademarked. I'm sure you can't.
Well, I mean, yeah,
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. But what I'm saying to you is if Glock is going to be so worried about their people leaving to go help other people,
they need to get better.
Take care of your guys, but don't give them a reason to leave.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from too, but I also see what Clover's
employees are also crappy.
Yeah,
you're giving a lot of benefit, and I get the big corporations. I understand what you're saying, but I know a lot of small business. We've had private conversations, you and I, about this.
Mm-hmm.
I've dealt with so many crap employees, and I had a maximum. The most I've ever had back in the day was like 5 or 6 or something, and I went through a ton of crap employees. So it's a double-sided thing there. That what happens now when you've got a crap employee that just to spite or for whatever reason, or they're lazy or whatever. And now you've got to worry about, oh, well, I can't get rid of this person because what happens when I get rid of this person and he goes to work down the road and he knows every in and out of how we operate here.
Yeah.
That's not going to be good for my small business that has a tight bottom line.
Well,
I mean, that's a good point. Too.
It's a good point.
They could, if they're copying your trade secret, you could always send a cease and desist, right? Am I wrong?
You could. Mm-hmm. You could. I don't know if trade secrets are covered or not.
There's legal actions that you can take. Now, whether or not you could win in court would be a different story.
That's a whole other issue.
Yeah, but there's legal actions you could take. There's always legal actions you can take.
Yeah. No, and I don't remember if it was Clover or whoever brought it up earlier. The end story in this is corporate lawyers are getting ready to be a commodity for sure. The lawyers are going to be the one that benefit the most. My biggest thing, my whole point is I never see it as a bad thing when people have the freedom to do what they want. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think that it's a bad thing that if I can better my family by changing jobs, if I see that I've maxed out at what I'm going to be in this company, and there's no way I can get promoted unless someone above me leaves. And now I have an opportunity to go somewhere else to better my life and better my family, to bring my own ideas to a company. How is that a bad thing?
Because you're not thinking about the freedom of the company. You're not thinking about the freedom. Exactly. Okay. Well, then it's pointless then, because no companies exist. We don't care about companies. Well, how does the world work?
No, I'm saying if I'm the person that I know that I'm stuck in a position that I can never grow out of, and they're not going to let me leave. They're not going to promote me. They're not going to give me a raise. Nothing is going to happen. I'm stuck in the same place.
Yeah.
You think it's okay to sit there and say, I got you? Like, I'm going to treat you like crap and never do anything for you, and you can't leave?
No, it is absolutely not okay. from a moralistic standpoint, no, it is not okay. But to rob that company, which is people, and it could be the best person in the world and can be a crappy individual. You're talking about yourself, which is an upstanding, moral, hardworking individual. Mm-hmm. I fail to believe in society that's the vast majority of freaking people, first of all. So second of all, assuming that I do feel that way, which I do, then what happens when it is a legit company and they just got a crap employee and you're saying, oh, we're going to take away the right for two private parties to enter into an agreement, right? Okay. So don't take that job in the first place. If you want to go to work for that company and they have a non-compete clause, turn around and walk out the door and go find another company in the same industry that doesn't ask you to sign a no-compete clause. Taking away the right for that business to have whatever kind of contractual obligations to the workflow or the workforce that they want within labor standards is ridiculous.
Well, I also want to point out that the vast majority of companies these days all have non-compete clauses in their contracts. So no matter who you go and work for, if it's a company, you probably have a non-compete clause in your contract when you sign that contract. So sometimes you don't have a choice but to work for a company with non-compete because they all have non-competes in them.
Who reads that stuff anyway?
You should.
Because
now
that's
another problem. Yeah.
But okay, if I have a non-compete, even if I have a non-compete for 2 years and my non-compete's up, what's stopping me from going over to company B? I mean, this is just stopping the process in between. I mean, it's non-competes were for
speeding up the process, if you will. I think what they probably will say is and this is not gun industry specific by any means. I think where it came down to is if you put a non-compete for, let's say, 2 years, right, into someone's contract and they leave the company, their thought is after 2 years, the stuff that you knew about in the 2 years
old news
that goes through the non-compete is irrelevant at that point, probably.
It's old news.
You know. Yeah. But I understand everyone's argument. I think that
the big companies that are able to afford it, right? The one that's in your state, for example, is a prime example. Let's get out of the gun world for a minute.
Yeah.
What they're going to do is they're going to lock down trademarks, copyright, intellectual property, and all of that stuff to the point that
it doesn't matter if you leave or not. Yeah,
they're going to spend their money, and what's going to happen is there's going to be smaller companies that are going to end up getting sued by the bigger companies, or individuals that are going to end up getting sued by bigger companies. You know, it's going to, again, we've said it 3 or 4 times now. It's going to be a good time to be, a labor lawyer or a contractual
a corporate lawyer is going to make a lot of money in the next few years.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm for the spirit of the idea of non-competes. That's just me.
Well, what we're all forgetting is that it's non-competes that are getting removed, but NDAs are still a thing.
NDAs, absolutely. NDAs are
still a thing. So if I go to another company, if I violate that NDA, that's a different.
That's a good point. We should have brought up a long freaking time ago.
Well, I just thought of it. My bad. But NDAs are still a thing. So it's just a non-compete. So I could go over to another company, but trade secrets could be covered under NDA.
That's correct. I mean, there are, and Wes says NDAs are next. I don't think so. I think that this is more of a labor and a work thing where people should have the right and the freedoms to work where they want. I don't think this is an ideas thing. I don't think the government is involved with, hey, we're saying you can go take trade secrets over there. I don't think NDAs are next. I don't think that patents are next. I don't think that any of this stuff is next. I think that they're still going to they better. I put it this way: they should still better. They better still believe in the system of information, right? And information at a company is their information. It's their property, whether it's intellectual property, whether it's covered by NDAs, whether it's patents, whether it's trademarks, whether it's copyrighted, whatever. What happens inside that company is theirs. Now, ideas, once again, that's hard to prove. A marketing strategy, that's hard to prove. Hell, I could go work for a company right now and do nothing but watch Walmart commercials for the next year and figure out what their strategy is. And I never worked at Walmart. It won't be that difficult to figure out a marketing strategy if you pay attention. So it's hard to prove that. But NDAs, I don't think they'll ever go after NDAs. I don't think they'll ever go after trademarks, copyrights, patents, because that is the root of business. If you're good enough to come up with an idea, whether it's a marketing idea or a design or whatever it is, that's yours. That's yours. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Whoever that was.
We've weaved down a crazy rabbit hole here, and
it's
so
a
I want to back up.
Rabbit hole.
And I want to back up because,
and I don't even know how the hell we got on this.
That's why I'm saying I want to back up. John started this. I do know that. I do know John started it. So, explain again. Is this something that has even been? Is this been signed into law, or is this infringement? The sky is falling.
That might have been our first question we should have asked.
No, it is. It has been signed into law, or it's a new rule banning. It looks like it's been signed.
It is a rule. It's a rule.
It looks like it was signed.
Not legislation.
What I've read.
So it's not legislation.
It's a rule. Correct.
Oh, okay. Well, on that then, because
I said it was a rule.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Since it's okay, that's why I wanted to back up.
FTC final rule will generate over 8,500 new businesses each year, raise worker wages, lower healthcare costs, and boost innovation. Now,
I do not see big companies adhering to this rule.
Well, there's one thing that we haven't even discussed, right? Prices are getting ready to go up on goods.
Like just one?
No, I'm just saying, like, all this stuff is great. So, but I think the price of goods is getting ready to go up because now people are gonna have to pay. You know, once again, if I want to leave and I want a better paying job, that's great. But someone's got to pay for that, which means their products are going to start costing more. That's the bad side of it. But, yeah.
So if Joe Bob tactical bro rah 2A shall not be infringed says I will not comply to the ATF's new rule. Do you think that huge corporations, which is the bulk of what our conversation and debate has been about, with a myriad of lawyers and basically an unlimited budget at their disposal, is not going to completely ignore this rule?
Yeah, but here's what it says, and I'm reading it here. The commission found that employers have several alternatives to non-competes that still enable firms to protect their investments without having to enforce non-competes. Trade secret laws and non-disclosure agreements both provide employers with a well-established means to protect their property.
So just call it something different. They basically they've redefined a machine gun.
Basically.
There you go. So nothing changes.
The only thing that changes is that you can go to a company that you work with. That's it.
Effectively is what I'm saying.
Effectively, yes. Nothing else. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you can take anything with you. It just means you can go work for them.
Right. We all know who. Okay, the best. There's no trade secrets when it comes to marketing. I think that's where you hit the nail on the head. This gives the ability for better marketers to go out and market better. We all know who the best company is at gun launches, and some of us hate them, some of us love them, but we know that Springfield Armory is the best at gun launches.
They're good. They're good.
And everybody out there has the ability to copy that. But if you were to take one of their guys and send them over to Glock,
it doesn't mean you can execute it.
Yeah.
The problem is everybody's had the opportunity to copy that. They don't.
They can't execute it. Yeah.
And that's another issue that, are they willing? Are these other companies
willing to poach or scalp or whatever the right employees from other companies, headhunt them to even get them over or pay them more or whatever.
I think, and this is where I was coming from. I think that a company that is not a small company, they're that mid-level company, and they're right there on the verge of blowing up, but they're looking for that one thing to take them to that next level. I think those are the kind of companies that you can sit there and say, we need to go get us a top-tier marketing director. Let's just assume, and I'm not throwing anything out there, but let's assume that the Andersons want to start taking a big step and they want to go do this, that, and the other. Why wouldn't they go to try to find the best people that are possible to take their company to the next level? What if EAA?
They've already got Kyle. Who else do they need?
I know,
Get
right?
that Kyle guy out of there.
But but I'm just saying, like, if someone's at that, they want to take that next step. They want to take that company from a mid-tier. Everyone knows who they are, but they're not that dominant. They're not there yet. But it only may take one or two things to put them over the edge. Why wouldn't they go headhunt and cherry pick some of the best out there and pay them more? I would.
I think that's the beauty behind this too, is like you can start at least having those conversations with people like, hey, yeah, I mean, that's cool.
I don't know. Like I said,
one thing I've been holding on to this whole conversation, John, thanks for getting us started on this, by the way.
Yeah, asshole.
We're all worried about the 2A, all right? And I am too. But go outside of the 2A. I think we're about to get some banger movies here in the next couple of years. You got writers swapping, and I could see that going somewhere. And I wonder if that's where this started from, is all the writer protests and stuff like that.
I mean, when you start talking about the writing,
more AI related, I think, but yeah.
But still, but I mean, like, one of those things where, well, it could be anything. I mean, but yeah, in the entertainment world, what if these writers could go from Warner Brothers to Paramount tomorrow?
Doesn't even have to be that. Look at the rise of Amazon, Hulu.
Oh yeah,
Netflix,
I want to leave Amazon to go start.
Look at the
start
originals, right? And that's part of it too. The writers thing was partially had to do with AI. And then the other component of that was all of the Netflix in-house and all of that stuff with producing movies and stuff too that's going on. And then you've got private stuff. Heck, look at Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai started on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Now it's blown. Yeah.
And Netflix said, well, here you go. Here's a big check for that. We'll buy it. Thank you.
Yep. We'll take care of that. Midnight Rain says, you would also have to prove that the new employee was the source of the secret. Even if it's obvious, you have to prove it somehow. Yeah, I mean, look, I think we all agree that the person that makes out the best in this whole situation are the lawyers. So, no. I like I said, the idea of a non-compete, I think that protects the worker instead of the company. And if you look at the company as being the government and the worker being as an employees, would you rather live in a world where the government tells you that you can't move jobs? You can't move from Texas to Arkansas for a job because So, I mean, if you look at it in those sense of things, I think the power should lie in the employee, not in the employer.
Well, let me flip that on you.
Okay.
If you believe that, and that's great as long as you're a worker. But if you want to live the American dream and you aspire to one day have your own business, to start your own business, to work your way up, to do something, and then you do that, and then, the power of the almighty government now is restricting you from doing this and this and this and this and this with the business that you work so hard to, in another business and another field with the grind to get to the point to where then you could open your other business. And it could be, I'm not talking about the non-compete. This could be a completely different business niche and genre, right? But the point being, now you got the full weight of the almighty, leviathan of a freaking government saying, oh, okay, now that you've worked your butt off all these years and you're this close to achieving the American dream of having your own awesome business that you once wanted, guess what? The same rules that apply to that business that you wanted to, that made you feel all comfy and good about yourself or whatever, oh, now you got to apply to that. So enjoy, the Uncle Sam, the big brother, looking over your shoulder with your business, because and is that really? I don't know. Is that how do you say that? Is that really the ends? Is that really the ends you want to the means? I mean, as long as you're working for somebody, I get it. But if you're trying to move up and move on and do other things, eventually it's going to come around and it's going to affect you as a business owner. Well, but all of this is moot, or is it moo, like a cow's opinion?
It's moot. It's like Joey. No one cares what a cow says.
Because as John said, there's all of these other things on the table that they're not doing anything about. And at the end of the day, it's a freaking rule, and big companies are going to ignore it. So I should.
Second of all, we just wasted the last hour. Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Shall not comply.
You're welcome.
Only
I
it's
thought
Walmart.
it was a great conversation.
No, it actually was a pretty good conversation.
I expect to see the Walmart.
I think Chris has been asleep for like the last 45 minutes.
Chris blacked out.
I fully expect to see the executives at Glock and Walmart and all of these huge companies outside their office with pickets that say "shall not comply" tomorrow.
Shall not comply. Yeah. Don't tread on me.
Right.
Kid, the Gadsden flag outside of Walmart. Don't tread on me.
Right.
Like the hell?
That'd be a beautiful thing.
That would be amazing for just the visual of that. Like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. Shit, 2 hours and 25 minutes. And the last hour has been on non-compete. Freaking, this has been business talk.
Welcome to Ghost Business Show.
Hey, one more thing.
Business show.
One more thing that I just thought about with this, real quick.
Yeah.
So we talk about the power of big business, and we know that's a thing.
Yeah.
And their lobby power in Washington is insane.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah.
How many of these big businesses lobbied Washington to say, whoa, wait, don't do this through legislation. Make a rule. Yeah. Make a rule. Yeah, here's a bunch of money for your campaign. Make a rule. Make a rule. I can guarantee you that's what happened.
It is 100%. Election year.
Yeah. I guarantee you that's what happened.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Anyone that's not blinded by the light understands that's exactly what happened. It's a rule. There's really no penalty if we break that rule. Well, you just slap me on the hand. Hey, you're gonna give me a $5,000 fine. It's like 1,000th of a penny.
Tied up in court for 15 years, 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck. And so, by the way, we're gonna end up after 2 years. We're gonna go ahead and just settle this, and you're gonna pay a fine, and it's all good. Oh, a fine. Okay, sure. Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, here's a check. I got that in the seat cushion. No problem. Go for it. Yeah. It was an interesting conversation. I don't know if I'm qualified to speak on business matters, but it was really fun. I enjoy arguing just for the sake of arguing. All right, Chris, let's bring you in. God, 2.5 hours, and an hour of it was freaking business talk. Let's get back into some gun shit. What you got coming up on the channel?
I'm going to release the first shots video tomorrow with the new Night Stalker, and Thursday night I have my live show at.
There you go. You got a guest coming on, or what's the topic?
Yeah, we're gonna have Joe's coming on from Shooting Gallery. He's been wanting to get him on the show, so we're gonna have him on, and should be fun. So. I really appreciate you having me on.
I'm sorry about tonight's show.
Oh no, you're fine. But I am going to go.
I saw your eyes glaze over. I was like, okay, yeah, we lost Chris.
You're good. I am going to go though. I got to get my leg up and get some ice on it. So I really appreciate it, guys.
Yep.
So
feel better.
Have a good night.
You too, bud. Kyle, what's going on, Anderson? I know you guys got primary range day coming up, and then NRAM coming up next month. What all you got coming up?
Yep, getting ready for the shows. Hope to see y'all out there. Also, as John talked about, we'll be a part of GOA in August as well. So come see us as well. For you East Coast individuals, it's a little close.
I really worry about you guys being directly across the aisle from EAA at Goals. I'm fairly certain that could get dangerous. Just saying.
Very well could. Check us out on social media at Anderson Manufacturing. Go check out our website, andersonmanufacturing.com. And if you're on X, it's at Anderson Rifles.
Did someone take Anderson Manufacturing from you guys?
Sure did.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was me or not. I don't know. No.
AndersonManufacturing.com. I bought that actually back in, I think, 1999. Kyle, I have it. I would sell it for, I don't know, about 8 or 9 figures probably. We could cut a deal.
8 or 9 figures? Holy shit.
Yeah, I'll just talk to my boy Elon and get it, dude.
Right. Snob. Snob's gonna give you a big old kiss next month. He said what happens in Texas stays in Texas.
He accused me of trying to send nudes to him yesterday.
Okay.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah,
I can't tell you how I know, but if you send nudes to Snob, they will end up on the internet. Just saying. And
they might be photoshopped to add a little bit to those.
Oh, they'll be embellished for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's standard practice.
Because they don't make you sign a non-compete clause. Well played. Well played. Ginger, what you got going on over at Fully Loaded Reviews, and obviously give you time to talk about GOA as well.
Well, I got to wrap up some more filming. We filmed the Anderson video, and then the footage got corrupted. So we're going to refilm it this week to get the Kiger out. Found that out yesterday.
There's always something, either video or audio. I don't know what the hell y'all are doing, but what are y'all doing over there?
I got a bunch of stuff. I bought a bunch of new equipment so this doesn't happen again. So we're getting it figured out. Trust me.
You got a problem.
I use a cell phone and a lapel mic, and I've never had my stuff get.
I think you've got a problem with the type of equipment you're acquiring, not a problem with inherently with the equipment itself. You need to choose your equipment wiser, I think.
We chose better. I just bought DJI bikes and a couple other stuff, so
I use a $11 wired lapel mic for 4 years with a Samsung S5 phone. And I never had anything corrupted. I'm just saying.
Okay, you want the honest truth? Kurt lost the footage somewhere.
There we go. I believe that.
That's a lot more. Yes, I believe that. The footage getting corrupted.
I've got my angle from my phone, and it's good, but we don't have the head-on angle. So if you want to see our hands the entire episode,
hey, it's the G-Webs version, man. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but I got the G-Webs edition.
I just got a text that's
literally name it G-Webs edition.
Well, it was we're getting everything figured out, so give us some time. We're still young and figuring this out again. So yeah, those are coming up. I've got about 7 or 8 guns we have lined up to review, plus a couple more coming in that are going to get lined up. But Kyle's Kiger is going to be first if hell or high water. I want to make this happen. So it was all filmed. I'm very sad that I can't find it, but yeah, that's coming up on Fully Loaded Reviews. And we've got the Goals event coming up. Go to goals.gunowners.org to sign up for Goals to be an attendee. It is free to all GOA members. If you go to State of the Second's YouTube page, there's a link there that'll give you $5 off. So it'll be $20 to get in, and you'll get a bunch of free concerts, free comedy shows, free to get in.
Please tell me that Kevin Reichard comedy is not performing at Goals.
No, but
no, it wasn't. It was, who was it? Kevin Patrick.
That's right. Yeah. So Tack Daddy's comedian name was Kevin Patrick, not Kevin Wright. It was Kevin Patrick.
No, he will not be performing. But we're trying to get some cool people.
I really love his joke
bro.
about
people would show up if you had Tack Daddy because people would They would show up for a lot of different reasons. They'd show up.
People would really enjoy his bit on the Incredible Hulk being
the Incredible Hulk. Yes, wow.
Well, I'm trying to get John Hickok to show up and do his comedy because he is hilarious.
He actually does that though.
Yeah, I was about to say that'd be cool.
So after
it's not
this,
that far of a drive from him. An hour or two.
Yeah,
it's not that far. Is his stage going to be next to the bathroom by any chance?
You know that story, don't you?
No, I don't. We'll have to talk
John
about
and his dad.
Hickok bathroom.
The Hickok bathroom. This is how they go to the bathrooms. They can make sure that they're always around their fans. Is one of them will go in the bathroom, the other one would stand out in front of the bathroom saying hi, signing autographs and all that, and then they'd switch. They would never go together because they wanted one of them always out there. And Clover witnessed this.
Yeah, multiple times.
Pretty remarkable.
Times, yeah.
Well, that's some skills that I guess that's if you gotta do what you gotta do.
You know, I never thought that in front of a public restroom in an industry event is where you want to go and get autographs from people.
We've tried to pull it off. You and I have tried to pull that off a couple of times, but we're so short. People don't ever look down.
We were paying people that look like they're asking for autographs. That's just. I mean,
wait, I was supposed to get paid?
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Well, come on now.
Yeah, you're the guy from Where the Millers. Wait, y'all are getting paid?
You violated the non-compete, John. It wasn't our fault.
Yeah,
my bad.
Non-compete, baby. You know.
Yeah. So after this week, I've got another week home, and then I'm going down to Florida for the NSSF Marketing and Leadership Summit. So I'll be there for a couple days. If anybody's attending, come say hi. And then after that, I will also be at Primary Arms Range Day with our booth for GOA. So if you're at Primary Arms Range Day, come say hi. I'm going to hang out with Kyle all day. That's all I'm going to do.
Have you ever been to Waxahachie before?
I heard there was a Buc-ee's on the way, so no.
It's literally 20 minutes maybe down the road.
Yeah,
I've been to that range, ETTF.
Yeah, it's 15, 20 minutes just south of Dallas. Back in the day when I was, when I would drive down from Dallas to either Waco or Austin or something like that, Waxahachie, they used to have it wasn't a Buc-ee's, but they had a really big truck stop that you get the best beef jerky at ever. And I doubt that it's still around. If there's a Buc-ee's there, then there's definitely not one around. But Waxahachie was a pretty cool little town back in the day. And it's probably now just part of Dallas. I mean, back when I was growing up, it was a 20-minute drive from Dallas through ranches and all that. But it's probably just part of Dallas now. Duncanville,
it's hard to tell the difference.
Are probably not. Yeah, it's just
it's hard.
Dallas.
It's hard to tell the difference. Yeah, until you get to the south side, it's really hard to tell.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to try to get into NRAM, and we'll see what happens. But I have a feeling I've got multiple ways to get in.
Yeah, so
I'll be in.
You're good.
I'm good.
Well, if you need me to make a call, John, let me know.
I heard you're a big mover and shaker, so we'll get that going. But
He's
I'm
a big
gonna
shaker.
go. Yeah. So I'll be there, and then
the truffle shuffle, baby.
And then after that, just make sure you sign up for goals. That's all I gotta ask. Come on down to goals.
I was one of the first ones to sign up for goals. I think
you and Clover were the first ones, and then Kyle finally got the trigger pulled on his end, and we got them all signed up for a booth. And just so everybody knows, while I'm sitting here, I can read off who's coming. So Palmetto's coming, Car's coming, Watchtower. If I read through all these, it'll take forever, but just some of the big
headliners. About 30 or 40 so far? 50?
70.
Oh, 70 already?
70 so far, yeah.
Oh,
Century's going to be there.
Awesome.
Smith & Wesson's going to be there. Shield Arms is going to be there. Global's going to be there. SDS, EAA, Silencer Central, IWI, Night Vision, Gideon, KCI. I have to zoom. Cox Arms will be there, who's been on the show before.
Yeah.
My Medic, Premier Body Armor, Vertex, 99, Victos, just to name a few.
It's crazy of all those. It's crazy, and it's just for me, and I'm sure Clover feels the same way. It's really weird. It's almost 7 years since I started this weird YouTube channel, and all the companies that you just read, and there's obviously a lot more, but the companies that you just read, I've either already worked with or have a good relationship with those companies. And that's just weird to think that, like, that's awesome. Like, there's a lot of companies that are really cool companies that I know a lot of them. But for me personally, it's kind of weird to think that 7 years ago till now, it's just kind of strange. But I can't wait for goals. I think it's going to be fun. I think you guys are going to do it the right way. I'm sure there's a lot of apprehension from the industry and for other people because it's the first one. But I have a feeling you guys are going to do it the right way, which just sets up huge second, third, fourth, fifth years.
So I'll tell you this. And I was on the phone with Dead Air today talking about this, and there's been a lot of hesitation from people because it's a first-time show.
Sure, absolutely, yeah.
But when we did booth picks on Wednesday, we spent all day doing booth picks. Kyle knows that he got an email at 8 a.m. getting everybody scheduled. Out of all the people who early on committed, we had 3 who no-called. And then since we announced the opening to the general public sign up, I've gotten 10 vendor requests a day. So it's been a good sign. That's a good sign. So hopefully more companies go. If you know a company that you want to be there that I haven't named off, and the new website will be going up. The new website is up with the registration, but the new website with everything, with the hotel info and stuff should be going up later this week. Once that's up, all the company logos will be on there. If there's a company that you think should go, email them, talk to them. I've probably already hit them up, but the more pressure we get from
how many, and obviously different size booths, but if you went 10 by 10, how many more booths are available at this point? Do you know?
At least 100.
Okay.
So there's 100. There's 110 by 10s left. I mean, I've got big booths left too, but
that's not how you sell, John. That's not how you sell. You should have said there's only 5 left.
Well,
they're going fast, boys.
Yeah, they're going fast.
So after we opened to the general public and did booth calls, I got like 10 more booths on Thursday and Friday. So it's been moving slowly but surely, but yeah, definitely would love to see more companies, smaller companies, bigger. This is a chance for a lot of the small companies to get in and make their mark on some people and talk. I mean, there's a lot of one-on-one time.
There's going to be some small companies that actually can afford to get booth space. That may not be able to afford to go to SHOT or NRAM.
Well, if they're a non-partner, it's like nothing. It really is. It's really, Kyle can attest to this. I'm not going to say the numbers out loud, but Kyle can attest that this booth
it's insanely good.
It's insanely cheaper than all the other shows, and I want to see more people there. G-Webs, if you're going to buy it, done. Let's go.
103.
Come on, let's go.
Have to wait till next year. I can't go for less than 103 tables.
He's got bayonets to sell, baby.
He got bayonets and all the stuff he's got on Amazon. He's going to take all his Amazon crap and sell it.
Listen, he's got
a yard sale inside the convention center.
Oh Lord!
I got vacuum cleaners. What do you want? I got it.
Well, I will say this.
This isn't a flea market? No, it's not a flea market.
I can't give you exact numbers, but because I haven't got them yet from Kaylee, but the signups have been astronomical. We haven't even pushed out stuff to the social media guys yet and to all the content creators.
You talking about the public signups have been good?
Yeah. So we've only done our push, and I'll have graphics to you two later this week or early next week to do a social media content push. But yeah, it's
you two's going to be there. Bono, really?
Yeah, you two.
Nice.
I guess the Clover and Ghost Bono. I mean, which one of you is Bono?
I mean,
it's got to be me because I got the weird sunglasses.
Oh dear God! I'm done talking now. This has been great, guys. I enjoyed the conversation. It's been fantastic, even though I caused an hour of yelling.
I do have a quick question for people that are wondering about goals. If they do not, just for the general public that want to go, do they have to register online, or can they just show up to the door and get in?
You can show up to the door and get in, but we are recommending that you register online because that will give you first access to, even though the shows are free, the comedy show and the concert are free, there's still a limited amount of space we can fit people in. So if you sign up early, you get early access to get those those tickets.
I was just making sure that people that might not want to go and register online. There's a lot of people that don't do that, and they just, hey, I'll just show up to the door. Yeah, you can do that, but there are some perks as to why you want to pre-register for sure.
Snob, I tried. I really did, but he's too good for us now.
That's fair.
Well, you disrespected him, like Sig. Respect.
Wow. Oh boy. Clover, what do you got coming up? Anything?
Man, I don't even know. I'm lost. Like what? So first of all, little public service announcement, and this is across the entire YouTube platform. We were talking about it pre-chat. If you are clicking on videos from some your favorite creators, whoever they might be, because it's not niche specific, and keep that in mind when there's gun tubers that want to howl at the moon later that YouTube hates them. No, this is platform wide, but if you see a video and the comments are disabled, that creator did not, odds are anyway, that creator did not disable that comment. The comments on that video, there's some glitching going on YouTube that's shutting down comments, and it's pretty widespread. Snob, he knows what I'm talking about. So does, I think, Artac. So yeah, that's number one. What else we got? Man, I've been cranking out some videos. That's all I gotta say, I guess.
There you go.
I've got 2 that's sitting in members only preview now. So if you want to join up over there and catch those early, you can, or you can wait for those to drop. But yeah, finally getting some work done on that front, kind of like John was talking about earlier, and I know you're that way. Got a ton of crap sitting around that we gotta get work done with, And so yeah, the one I got finished up today was fun. I enjoyed time out on the range today for sure. But that's all I got, I guess. I can't think of really much else. Working on a potentially a special podcast that I don't want to give the farm away on it, but I think if I can make it happen, it'd be pretty neat. So stand by for the standby, I guess, on that. That was kind of the Braden pivot before it ever happens, if it ever does spill. But
well, with him, it never did. So
yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
All right. Quick shout out to that bearded guy, the artist formerly known as Mad Sexy. What's up? How you doing?
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
So we've had a lot of people talk about the channel memberships.
Yeah.
I confirmed today with Kyle on the phone that for whatever reason, if you're an iPhone person, you can forget finding the join button for channel memberships on iPhone unless you open it in a browser window. YouTube in a browser window. Yeah.
Just another reason why Android
not even there. So if you've been frustrated, like, man, I want to join up with a channel and blah, 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 you go find a computer somewhere, get on one at the library. I don't know what to tell you, something. And or open up a browser window.
It's just another reason why the iPhones are inferior.
Now, I personally, and I don't know if you're this way, but for creators that may be listening, and Kyle can confirm this, but I've got a link in the description of my videos that you can literally just click on that link and join.
I think I do too.
I'm glad I put that there. I didn't put that there for that reason, but I'm glad that's there now that I think about it. So if you are on iPhone, you can't get the browser. If you're technically inept, scroll down in the description and see if they may have a link down there for you.
Or write a comment, and if the comments are working,
you can put one in there. True.
And
yeah,
say, hey, you guys want to join? Click here.
Yep.
Just saying. All right. Golly, 2 hours 47 minutes into this fiasco. I apologize for anyone that's watching this in replay, especially those that are listening to this in podcast form. If you've made it this long, God bless you. This is 2 hours and 47 minutes you will never get back. And at least it's free, right? At least it's free. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, thanks you guys for watching this. If you're out there live, it was I'm gonna put this. It was a weird conversation tonight. Good, but weird. Oh my God, y'all are so gay.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Yeah, thanks, John, for the conversation.
You're welcome, guys.
No, it was a good conversation. It was just not a conversation that I was expecting ever to be on this show. But do we get credit for watching 2 of these shows tonight? Yeah, I mean it's as long as 2 shows, so sure. You do get extra credit. So yeah, when you turn your homework in, you will get extra credit. Oh, stop. I don't want to. No, we're not doing this. Stop. You can go do that on some other weird. No, we're not doing this shit.
No, God, no.
Oh, Lord. All right. Thanks, you guys, for watching. We'll see you soon. Simplify.